What's up, everybody? Welcome to Omega Strikers Amateur Series, and I'm here. I'm Fem Bison. I'll be casting today with my pal Zephyr here. Zephyr, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hey, nice to see you guys. I've kind of been around the mix when it comes to Omega Strikers, casting a couple of the lands, Battle for Texas and CCC. But other than that, kind of a little bit of a debut situation here on the Omega Strikers Amateur Series.
Hell yeah! I mean, we're gonna get into some interesting games today. With this amateur series, we're gonna see some play. From more of the up and comers of this game's competitive scene. So that'll be pretty interesting. I'm curious if you have any thoughts about that from like a spectator standpoint. I'm obviously coming from like a higher level competition standpoint, but I'm curious about you.
I mean, all I have seen is either the best of the best or collegiate teams. So this is definitely somewhere in between there. Not as new as the collegiate entities, just starting to get their footing, but definitely nowhere close to the likes of the better players here. Obviously, kind of in betweener regarding plat and diamond levels of play. So still good and still a level of kind of meta and appreciation that we will see, but definitely kind of up in the air regarding exactly who will come up on top. I will let everyone know that we will be seeing in our first matchup Dubu Simps versus the Plunderblus.
The Plunderblus. I enjoy both of those team names, quite frankly, and we're getting right into it with these picks. Seeing the let me see. Hold on. I think we're a little bit. There we go. Seeing the Juliet band go out from. I'm not sure what this roster.
This Plunderblus.
Plunderblus we're looking at. Both looking to ban Juliet on Autumn City. Bit of an ban. Both teams.
Oh, okay.
I think the Starting Awakening might favor her then, because usually that's not a ban you would put on this map. Brawlers are a little weaker here, being unable to chase down those kills that they really need to scale up. So I'm really thinking that the Starting Awakenings might just be really heavily in our favor here.
Wow. And on the other hand here, I mean, we get to see both comps finally, and it's nigh close to a mirror matchup.
Right. Actually, yeah, I mean, there's like a one character difference between the two of them. Oh, we got the player bug in spectating. It just does that sometimes. Seeing the Rasmus and Asher on both teams, though. Asher on goalie for one team, Asher forward for the other. I will say Asher forward is generally considered to be stronger than Asher goalie.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how that goes. Kai, easily the best goalie on this map, going to be able to hold that barrier better. A lot of midfield shuffling right now, looking to just find a crack in each other's defenses. Asher pushing out, kid named Lamb, misses the strike, can't find the barrier. Ebink's holding on pretty well. Still, just and a barrier is going to go down pretty quick.
Yeah, nice pop on the back end.
Wow, sneaks it in there.
Not really in position. Couldn't kind of get down there quick enough. Was a little bit out of line there. And actually, I'm kind of curious. Seemed to be flashing one of the universities there as their remote. I'm kind of curious if maybe they potentially go there. But either way, it's a solid start here for the opposers. Our friends from Dubu Simps.
Right.
No Dubu to be seen, though.
No Dubu to be seen was just about to say. Really, Dubu Simps not locking the Dubu. A bit of a misnomer. And, wow, just like that, the Supernova and the Power Cord going to go out fighting the KO. Unfortunate recast from the Whiplash from Bartow. Both barriers go down, though. And almost sneaks it in. Good save. The core flip goes out. Both teams unable to find a goal, but kind of a tense position here.
Yeah, now obviously the most open it gets. I mean, it's literally mono here. The core flip will be utilized from Bardo, but it doesn't exactly land any much better there. The pass for kid named Lamb lands directly in the face of Toes. That pass splitter going to push this one back over, but once again, that Kai, great job of applying that forward pressure. Got to focus on the goal though.
I mean, just a bit of a demon angle. That one's kind of hard to read, whether it's going to hit the bumper and bounce off or, bounce right along the bumper as it just did. Great placement from Trix30 there. Yeah, I mean, Kai, once again, I was talking about Kai earlier, and, you said focusing on the goal. Focusing on the goal here, Kai actually able to hold his barrier a little better than Asher, because look at how big that is, right? He's going to be able to cover much more of that range. Asher a bit slow. And, as I'm talking about it, he's holding on pretty well. The barrage goes out. Exactly what I was talking about. But they're going to manage to sneak it through. Dubu Simps down a barrier, goal open for them. Kid named Lamb, however, returning the favor. The flip is going to go out. Unfortunate angle off the bumper there to Toes. Flip goes out from, can't read that name, Ruchis, or Buchis, but he can't find the goal. You know, Eblink's out there with a flip. He's going to be able to hold down just a bit longer in case something goes past his reach. But I think right now we're going to see a little bit of shuffling still. Flip goes out from Barto. Can't get the angle that he's looking for. The Supernova comes out. Almost does it, but it finds the weird geometry on that corner bumper, and Eblink's going to be able to flip to save that.
It seems like, I mean, a lot of situations here, you've got Kid named Lamb kind of in this great forward position as you would on this Asher. Just hasn't exactly developed a kind of angle here to really send this core in. It's a lot of the times we've seen pretty much a direct pass back. And this is the first time with Toes sending it over to Lamb that they don't just ping pong the core.
Right. Good pass from Trix 30 hours and Barto there to Kid named Lamb, able to find that shot. And you're right about that, like, good forward Asher positioning. He's just looking to capitalize. He just needs one opportunity to really get it going. Unfortunate dribble there. He's going to lose control of the core. He's a little too far up. Eblink's looking to get that ball right back up to where Asher needs to be. The flip's going to go out for Trix 30. Very hard to read that mix-up.
Just super forward and aggressive there from Trix, and this time around finally delivering on what that Rasmus can apply in terms of pressure. I'd like to see maybe a little bit more of that this time around to kind of continue to develop what priority they find here. Still though, no barrier.
Yeah, good pass out from Eblink's to Barto though, but it's going to get refuted right back by Plunderbus, if I remember correctly. And they're going to be able to take that barrier. However, a kid named Lamb returns the favor of using that positioning. He's playing well. If he can get an opportunity here, he can probably score. But they're managing to keep the core away from him and Barto, just cutting them off. And they're going to be able to capitalize for a goal. Good stuff from Bucci's there, finding that angle.
Last second, finding that final shot in to give that one over and away to, I believe, the Plunderbus as the winners of your first set here. But now we get to take a look, of course, at our carousel.
Carousel looking pretty interesting right now. We're going to see one of the new awakenings that just got rotated in Catalyst. Good choice, I think, from Trix 30 to pick that up. It's very strong in its current state. However, I do think Twin Drive might have been a bit better for the character. But we'll see if he can really capitalize off that meter gain he's going to get. Vice getting heavy impact, a big deal. Huge advantage going over to Plunderbus in this draft, I think. Not too much happening on the side of Dubu Simps.
No, and of course that twin drive also super good for Toes there to continue applying a lot of that necessary pressure to keep these goals alive, especially because we talked about a little bit more of that difficulty that Asher can have in terms of playing that defensive option. But once again, poor Plunderbus already down the full barrier. Barto looking super low here, now broken on the full stagger.
Right. Barto still, however, managing to find his opportunities and core control moments. He's surviving on literally nothing, as it seems. Great flip out from Trix to hold that barrier down. He's also on life support. And Eblinks is going to find the snipe. Good stuff. That aerial's extra range on the Giga Blast really coming out there. Kid named Lamb looking just to capitalize. Doesn't seem like he has any cooldowns up. Can't quite get the stuff, so Toes is going to be able to hold. And just like that, they're finding the clear. Plunderbus has the shot. Great barrage from Eblinks. Trix with a hook. The mix-up, unfortunately, unable to find it.
Mind you, Barto does have the full core flip available. It's immediately popped back in this one here. Uchi's with that massive supernova in play. That's going to send Barto low again. But last time around we saw this, he was more than well-equipped to live that one out. It's the first goal, this time over for Dubu.
And that was an impressive angle using that whiplash to find. I mean, it's like, it's not a strike, right? So you don't really get to choose where it's placed. So you have to move into position for that. Good stuff from Barto there. Full flip for two members of Plunderbus. Going to be a bit scary to defend that. Eblinks, however, with his own flip, so he can probably hold on just a little bit. Barto, though, quickly going to find the barrier. Eblinks going to lose his own. The flip goes out from him, but it looks like Toes is going to use his own, and they're going to hold the goals. Both teams down a barrier, and just like that, Trix 30 going to snipe it in.
Mind you, I believe Trix was the one who picked up that catalyst coming off the back end of our last carousel, so you already kind of get to see how those hits on the energy benefit are starting to play through there, because that was a really quick accumulation on the route towards that core flip that, of course, garnered that goal.
Absolutely, and Bucci's still has one of his own, so if they can give him an open angle, it's looking like he'll be able to score one as well. Trix 30 beating Barto out on the struggle, and with the whiplash against eBlinks, easy to get a second goal there.
Once again, kind of leading the pack here. Like I said earlier, I like the fact that we are beginning to see this Rasmus step into the play. Start to find more direct for the core. Now sitting on half energy there, keeping a lot of that pressure. You can see hasn't been allowing Dubus over here to actually find themselves any strong advantage past that midfield line. This first barrier is the best thing they've gotten, at least in the last 2 rounds. Hey, why not deliver on a goal as well?
So, yeah, it looks like they brought it close to, they brought it 2 even, but they're still down a set. They're going to need to capitalize here if they want to stop the momentum of Plunderbuss, especially on that carousel pick. I mean, we're looking at Trix 30 capitalize off of that Catalyst pick, as well as, you know, that extra mobility that Toes has with the Twin Drive really allowing him to get a few more saves that he might not otherwise get. And just as I say it, Barto finds just a quick little snipe into that corner of the barrier there, and he's going to get 2. It's 3-2, 1-1 in sets. In Trix 30, trying to use that Twin Drive extra dash to make the save, but he's just gonna be barely missing it.
It was, I mean, it was a perfect pass play up there to Toes on the opposite end, and just wasn't quite able to get in a good position. Now here, might have been seeing a return for the Dubus Enjoyers. Of course, both Kai and Rasmus kind of in that first preferential position.
Looks like Plunderbuss is going to be going for the triple fire-up stack. Makes perfect sense. That Awakening just a little bit overtuned in its current state. The text is bugged, but it refunds your teammates 30% of their max energy and speeds up your whole team by 40% every time you core flip, especially Trix 30 with that Catalyst. Being able to build this flip faster, going to get huge use out of that. Other noticeable drafts here, I think, are that Glass Cannon for eBinks and Kid Named Lamb stacks on stacks. That move speed going to be a huge help. But I think the burst move speed that Plunderbuss is going to be able to get out of the flip mechanics is going to be a little better, actually. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, need to, though, get this kind of out of a place where they can actually start to develop their own pacing here. Bucci's their big whiff on that Supernova. It is a bit of a zoning control, but it doesn't really develop anything further in terms of when we start talking about that stagger. Kid Named Lamb really waiting on this opposite end to just kind of hammer the rock in.
Right. They're just looking for those opportunities, but he's not quite where he needs to be. Toes and Trix 30 playing down low while Kid Named Lamb hanging up top. And I think he's just waiting for that open shot because he knows Toes is, covering the bottom. Not going to be able to get it through him there. Bucci's with the flip already. The fire-up goes out, and you can see the meter generation it got. Great barrage from eBinks as well, as you mentioned. Trix 30 dead. Not sure from what. I think the Giga Blast sniped him. But they're able to hold this midfield pressure. I think that Asher Wall goes out, and they're just going to be able to stall out this death timer.
Wow, and almost immediately, Toes already back up, having that core flip available. Barto to respond once again with that pendulum strike there. Supernova down is going to create the space maybe that they need. A great defensive block in the face of all this extra overtime speed. I can't believe they push it past the midline there. Kid Named Lamb once again missing out on that core flip.
Oh my god, great whiplash from Barto, finding in what looked like an impossible angle right to Kid Named Lamb for that easy shot in the top corner. It's going to be 1-0 for Dubu Simps. We're going to see if they can actually manage to hold this momentum and lead. Barto catching the kickoff there, but Trix 30 already has flip up again, and it's really just that Catalyst fire up. He's getting that extra energy every round start. He's getting that extra energy off hits, and that speed buff, unfortunately, unable to be capitalized on by his team, though.
No, not quite just yet here. This time around, though, eBinks kind of missing on that core, allowing that to pop that back over. And this is one of those situations where we're free range here in terms of this preferential play. Trix and Bucci's have not let this one go just yet. Still trying to step up to the angle. Supernova to give it that extra oomph, but no strike back to send it in.
Kid Named Lamb finding a good parry on Toes' flip there. Toes, great use of that dash to save it from the corner. Kid Named Lamb almost finds a second shot in, but Toes, on his toes there, really making sure that he doesn't let anything in that easily. Trix uses the flip, looking to get the core out from steal the possession from Dubu Simps. Not going to find a Kid Named Lamb with a barrier beam stuffing it through.
Yeah, and I think this one is starting to reveal a little bit of a compositional issue, right? I mean, there is this kind of I would say, theory where you get this Asher on this forward end, and you have a very dominant way to send that core into a pace of play. When it comes to Vice and Razmit, I just don't see how they could do it, especially as things continue to scale here.
Absolutely. While I do think Rasmus has some of his own scoring power, it's nothing like Asher. Especially Asher got her bugs fixed. Though they're not fully fixed, the character is much more reliable in the forward role once again. And also, another point on the composition, Kai, once again, going to be able to hold this goal a lot better than Asher is, both the barrier and the open goal itself. Draft going out, we're going to see Toes get the Orb Dancer. Going to be interesting to see if he can capitalize on that. Asher's not a very mobile goaling, so I think he was picking that to deny Kai, who loves to have that, especially on this map, which spawns 6 orbs. I don't think there's really much else super interesting with this draft. The Monumentalist from Kid Named Lamb might prove very useful if you can get some. Yeah, could be dangerous.
Could be really dangerous if they step up there in the right pace. And we've seen how Lamb has been super hyper aggressive here in terms of delaying the action and the inevitable once again. They're down, and now Bucci's really paying the price there. Kind of was bounced away with that barrage, but within all the chaos, the core finds its way home.
Absolutely, and I mean, this goes back to the sort of compositional issue. Kai with the barrage might be able to save that with his range, but Asher not so much. Just those, a lot of these goals from Dubu Sims have been sort of sneak-in goals like that, and that's the kind of stuff that Kai can deal with that Asher cannot. And also losing that forward pressure as well, right?
Oh, jeez. And even with the core flip, all those kind of energy buffs that we saw, and maybe even a little bit of a miscommunication there. Double flips utilized in the face of really no response in the score. And once again, with that barrier down, Lamb tries to send it in.
Doesn't quite find it, but Bucci's is going to find one of his own, sniping that core into the barrier with the power cord. The whiplash goes out from Barto, almost hits it through, but Toes, once again, just, holding steady, holding strong. Trying to stuff it through Asher is probably, one of the harder tasks in this game. Bucci's, the Supernova, not sure if that's really doing much in the zoning department either. Just a big whiff. Going to be down for 45 seconds. They're going to have a lot more.
I like that. Tricks kind of winning out on that strike war there. I mean, it was back and forth, and Ivanex, even with the barrage in the face of Tricks, still finding that one in.
Tricks absolutely just doing a bit of 1v3 there. Bucci's has another flip though, and we're going to see if he can use it to capitalize on his own opportunities, and if we can see some coordination play from both him and Tricks, especially with that fire up speed. Kid Named Lamb though is going to get in a perfect position to just hit it right through Toes. Not much you can do in that position whatsoever.
And that's exactly what you talked about a little bit earlier on when we did see this Asher start to really ramp and come into play, which is kind of surprising because in terms of on this Dubu Enjoyer side, it is the least leveled in terms of the Megas, kind of really biding their time playing this forward position without finding much past, well, the goals themselves.
Absolutely. And Barto is actually just going to sneak it down that corner to take it a quick 3-1 in this final set. Bit unfortunate for Plunderbuss. Toes just not quite where he needed to be, inches away from the save.
I can't believe it. I mean, you let that one really slide through, and like you said, Toes inches away. It was one single movement, one single strike. Usually we were talking about this Asher not really having the momentum to do this. This time around, I can't particularly say it that way. You get to check out those stats there, and notably, relatively even across the board. I am surprised as much to see how many saves Toes was ripping off there.
Absolutely. I think with a melee goalie, you're going to see that saves count higher because more than likely the core is going to be getting to you just that much more often when compared to like a range goalie. Like you can see Kai's save count's much lower, but it's because he's using those abilities to output that midfield pressure and keep the ball away from the goal line.
Something to write home about those, obviously the prevalence and the, I don't know, the meta nature of that Rasmus becoming even more of an abusive striker here. You get to see how Barto and Tricks both equally were pulling off a lot of the same impact for these respective rosters. I mean, I really think it was the difference between the Vice and that Asher there in the end.
Absolutely, I agree. Both Tricks and Barto playing well. Also, Erasmus on this map, especially all that open space to find those lines for just sniping the core from passes and shots with that hook. Going to be able to make a lot more use of that here rather than on like a more closed off map.
Well, with that being said, our friends here from the Dubu Sims will be on their way forward within our Swiss bracket now 1-0. And we didn't get to talk about it at the very beginning of the stream here, but you have to kind of go undefeated.
Right, yeah. I mean, the whole point of the Swiss bracket today is to make qualifications for Jack Ryan's future invitational. And if you lose one, you're out. So we'll see which teams can rise to the occasion and really put on a dominant show for us today.
Okay, well, with all that being said, we do have our secondary match coming up soon here. We are going to have to get into that spectator lobby. So while we wait, I believe we're going to go to, a break.
All right. Mm-hmm. And we're back, ready to get into this next match here between We Need the Sony Motes and Yoki's Prodigies. Interesting team names, obviously Yoki's Prodigies, coached by Coach Yoki himself. Some notable players on that roster as well, specifically 2004 Lexus GX 470, progenitor of Play Better, Win More.
Yeah, also a caster as well, who I know some of you obviously have seen around the scene. I had the opportunity to sit down with Caster, and the guy's an absolute joy, and it's a sad shame I haven't gotten the opportunity in what feels like eons, but it's only been a month. It's only been a month, but you know, it feels like I haven't seen him in 6 years.
You will absolutely probably get to cast with him again, especially as the competitive scene for this game ramps up. We're just waiting to get into the lobby for this match right now. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty interesting match. I think both of these teams are up 1-0 currently in the Swiss bracket. Whichever team loses is going to be unable to qualify for Jack Ryan's Invitational, but this will still be good practice, especially just for playing at a competitive level and in like a competitive environment, especially on like stream where those nerves can really get to you.
I was going to say, it is absolutely cursed how hard it gets the further you go here. I mean, you literally do not get any second chances as you make your way through this Swiss bracket here, but for these two teams, it is still only 1-0. I wouldn't say it is the complete dead end of the tunnel here. It's usually when we start getting to those 3-0 series where it's like, all right, expect the 5-set games all the way into the deep end of watching the Mammoths kind of compete and best each other. But this one, I would say, is bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not too nervous right now. If you lose this one, it's like, well, it is what it is. But absolutely, I think both these teams coming into this 1-0 do want to manage to keep that lead, keep that chance at qualifying us for this invitation, especially Yoki's Prodigies, bearing the name of Coach Yoki and having, you know, some of the more notable players in this bracket here.
Hold on. Trick is in chat, so I'm gonna represent for like 2.5 seconds. 'Cause he's an absolute G. He said, "Where the TFT merch at?" There you go. There's the There's the TFT merch. You can check out your favorite little logo. I got much more it's coming from, and if you want to send me any more, don't you worry. I can send you my address anytime.
And we're gonna be loading in to the match here, just waiting to see if Omega Strikers will let us see the game, and they will. The map is gonna be Imi's app, very brawler centric. We're gonna see if Rasmus gets banned out or picked by either team. Very much a pick ban character on this map, as I think most everybody is aware at this point.
I am curious. I now we get to hear the sweet nothings of what Coach Yoki is capable of. This is a team that has to go the distance at this point.
True.
There's no how would we say? There's no excuse. All right, he's got to deliver.
Absolutely. The Luna ban seemed to be a target ban as well as the Zentaro ban. I think, yeah. However, it looks like We Need the Sony Mote's not going to be going for the Rasmus pick, which might be risky. However, we do see the Dubu Ford come out, making me personally smile. One of my favorite picks to see. And of course, Yoki's Prodigy is going to take that Rasmus slot, going to abuse that hooking power on this map.
It's not even just the Rasmus. I mean, between Drakkar and Juliet, that's a lot of punishing power that you have to be super careful about. And while I think Estelle can get a little bit more lucky in terms of where they pace themselves and where they position, that Dubu is going to be in a lot of really forward and aggressive spots to try to make those rollouts and somersaults really work for them. So I worry a little bit. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Lexus GX 470 going to find the quick dash punch into Imi's into the fishing spot there. Jumper not even needing to get that special going before the first KO already comes out. Omega on these nuts going to get punished a second time.
All right. My boy Lexus said, "I'm here to play, just not with you." And meanwhile, why not add a death touch? Why not add a death touch? Okay. All right.
I mean, Yoki's Prodigies, truly some prodigies coming out swinging. I mean, they're here to throw down.
All right. Level 2 Omega has not been hit. They have not been allowed to strike, to hit, to play the game. Omega Gon is off the edge as well. It's a double combo. Jumper and Lexus, they double team that.
Omega on these nuts really just not having a fun time here. we might see him die from every possible death zone at this point. It's a little unfortunate. Lexus GX470 just showing them what's up. And the dash punch goes out to keep the core up, seeing if he can find a scoring opportunity. He's not going to be able to. Razy, sorry, holding the line pretty well there. That barrier still hasn't gone down. Flips up for both goalies, though, so we're going to see if those need to come out for a save. Omega on these nuts trying to put that Dubu forward pressure on Razy, but his health bar is looking low.
Might be another situation where we see this Dubu into the hole. Say sayonara. It's a bit of a shame. 2v3 situation. Lexus pop that one in for the goal.
Not even needing to use the flip here. I mean, just the KO dominance is a little unreal from Yoki's strategies right now.
Coach Yoki sat him down, and his only words were "kill." All right, and that was it. That was the only coaching this team received, and it's actually something that forces Zesty to utilize the elusive there. But this is the first time that they actually do find that barrier. They do find themselves off the edge though, just as quickly.
Lexus needing to burn the flip for the kill there, but I mean that advantage is going to be huge. Lex is just looking to get the shot in. Omega on these nuts playing pretty solid at the line there, managing to hold the barrier. So does a Jelly. We're going to see if they can capitalize on this barrier advantage, manage to score while they have the offensive pressure. And just as I say, Lexus GX470 going to find another kill on Omega on these nuts. Real unfortunate. Jumper almost gets the fish as well. Zesty, good time to evade to make sure he does not quite go out too early. And it looks like they're going to be able to hold on despite being down a player for a second there.
Now, of course, though, with Omega on these nuts back into the game here, they do have that advantage once again to try to play his forwards. Tofu Fortress on that south side. Meanwhile, Jumper says, hold on, that's not exactly how we play this. I'm going to have to ship you far out and away into the deep depths below.
Jumper unable to find the flip there, but I mean the scoring pressure is just up. You got a Julie standing in your top corner, you got a Razzles at your bottom corner. There's not many clearing angles you could find, but it looks like A-Jelly is going to be able to. Razy holding on pretty well at the goal line there and sniping it through with the Whiplash and Julie special combo there.
Literally from downtown, like threading the needle here. Absolutely perfect for Lexus to now, of course, lead the pack. First picks up. It is Infinite Prime time, though. Just want to point that out.
Infinite Prime time going to be huge for both goalies. I mean, Drekar and Kai, both big fans of having more of their primary. Julie also going for the prime time. I'm surprised nobody's gunning for that fire up just yet. Also of note, Drekar's BestieInSlot probably actually hot shot over prime time, so we'll see if he does go for that or if he sticks to the prime time. Looks like he will. He's just like holding on. And I'm trying to remember, I can't see the Razz's name right now. Jumper gonna get that fire up, gonna be able to, you know, utilize that meter gain both from the kills, the round start, buff his team, just keep that momentum going.
Jeez. I was about to say, a little bit of bulk up that you saw on the other side from Omega on these nuts to stay alive here, but Zesty on the opposite angle, having difficulties with their own. That Rose Thorn there immediately thrown out, try to take advantage of the barrier, and it actually does allow them to keep pressure up. Omega finding that own response, but Lexus here looking for just as quick as something else.
That dash punch gonna be unable to find the barrier, but he will find the kill on Zesty. Looking like he's looking for the barrier again. Can he get the pressure going? Great holding from A-Jelly there, but it's not going to be enough on the defensive side. Both goals are open, and with the momentum of Yoki's Prodigies, looks like they're going to be able to capitalize and score here. The flip, Lexus with the flip, Jumper going to be able to find the kill. If Razy can hold long enough to give his forwards an opportunity, it might be a quick death. A-Jelly actually reading the flip. Well, but
he read it. I mean, you were right. He read the flip, but he did not read the single defense. Pass that one back up to Lexus, and it's all said and done. Another goal here for the crew, Coach Yoki and beyond.
I mean, A-Jelly is actually not doing too bad at the goal line. It's a little hard when both his forwards are a little dead on loop. Lexus and Jumper just finding the kills from seemingly nowhere at this point. I don't know how they get half these kills. Razy with the flip, forced to use the flip to keep that barrier up. Both teams down on a meter. Zesty, however, looking like he's about to have a full bar. We're going to see if they play to KO him, forcing him to burn evade and or even possibly a core flip if you can get one up. And just as I say, Alexis is looking for the kill, but Zesty and Omega on these nuts are going to be able to find the barrier.
Yeah. Double barrier back down here, but once again, a lot of that forward pressure. Super big question on the board, and it's one fiery fist here from Lexus to finish the job. 2 up over. Jesus, it is a long shot here for recovery. Omega on these nuts, by the way, is still level 2. Zesty, level 3. And he won't be finding any further to 3 anytime soon there. Up into the hole.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're dead this long, there's just not many times you can get XP, hit the core, do much. Jumper, I mean, absolutely, just like, why would you not ban Rasmus here? He's just making them regret everything on that draft. Lexus with the flip, he's going to special and get the flip out, and just like that, it's going to go in quick. Omega on these nuts tries to wall the core into the bumper, but it's not going to be fast enough. 3-0, easy for Yoki's Prodigies, looking absolutely dominant right now.
They're literally far and above the rest here, and it's going to be a starting lead for Lexus as we enter in our carousel with Razzie not far behind. Jelly, the only one who really is able to shore this one up ever so closely, and that is that Egoist, one of our new awakenings coming out here.
Ego is going to be probably pretty big for Lexus. I mean, look at him finding these kills on the slightest of opportunities. Every time he gets that speed, the entirety of we need the Sony mode's going to have to watch out. Actually electing not to take the big fish, getting that extra size from, you know, her melee tags on her abilities, but we're going to see if we can capitalize on the speed better.
Trying to see if they can step into play here at any given time. Now Zesty ticking away with that Molten Core. Might be the first to go, but Razzie stepping kind of out of position there. Does allow at least for the one barrier. Good pop back to a Boy to Mega there.
Razzie holding on well. Jumper also playing some good defense. Both of them working together to find the core. Great redirect from A-Jelly there. I mean, incredible save. Making sure they don't find the barrier, but it's not going to be enough. Jumper just hits it right to Lexus, and they're going to score just like that.
And at this point, fam, I think it's a realm of how do you even catch up? What was going to be your opportunity to play this on even footing has long since passed. Level 3, say goodbye, keep that number up on the board. Zesty's doing a little bit better, but still in terms of scaling and all that they have to deal with there, it is nowhere close. Lexus super aggro to get that core flip barrier.
And Jumper immediately finding a kill. And the duo wall just stops functioning. Unfortunate for Omega on these nuts. I mean, Dubu needs a few bug fixes. I don't know. I don't know what else to say there.
That was a little bit of a pinched core there. Where it goes any faster, I will say, I swear it literally disappeared off the screen for half a second.
Absolutely. I mean, not sure what to say there, except that just genuinely unfortunate. Things not going for Sony Mode's way here. A-Jelly playing some good defense, looking to get the clear out, but it's not going to matter. I mean, just insane offensive pressure from Jumper and Lexus, covering all your clearing angles. Omega on D's nuts is like level 3 is getting tossed around. Not much you can do in the way of getting the core out of your goal arc there.
I was about to say, this was incredibly fast in terms of our first series. We are all said and done, I think, well before half of anybody is finished here in their round 2. Literally, what was that? Was that a 9-0 goal?
Absolutely. It was a 9-0. Not one goal scored for the We Need the Sony Modes. I mean, Yoki probably sitting pretty proud right now. After a performance like that, you gotta, you know, that's your team. You gotta celebrate.
Yoki said he VOD reviewed it today. So they VOD reviewed this map specifically. Yoki, what was the Yoki? Slide in my DMs what were specifically the tips, and then I won't say them out loud on the entire stream. I promise.
True. We will definitely keep your knowledge secret and patented. Absolutely.
Well, with that, Yoki's Prodigies one up once again. Now 2-0. Overall here, we'll do a little bit of some minor recovery regarding some of these past brackets as we start to look through some of these replays, most of which are just going to be the kill cam.
Yeah, I think not much to say when Lexus and Jumper just are sniping kills from the moment somebody gets a little too close to a dead zone. They're always ready to just find those. I mean, that was just really, really great opportunity, recognition, and execution from Yoki's Prodigies there.
I like this. Lexus says, Yoki, the VOD review was nothing more than Yoki showing off on Rasmus, hooking people, and having mag souls. I mean, that's about as good as it gets. I mean, why not learn from the best, you know? It's an absolute tutorial.
I mean, Jumper clearly following suit in Yoki's footsteps there. he was finding those fishing kills just all over the place. Like, Alexis, can you really criticize the lesson when, I mean, look at the results. The results speaks for themselves. What more is there to say?
It is a big start for Yoki's Prodigies here now, leading the pack. But there are a few other teams that do join them coming off of a round 2. Just right now, I kid you not, there are still like 16 matches still going here. But our friends Chikara Red have won their set 2. Hubble Bubble have found their set 2 against Asia. Chocolate Pangoos just found their win against Plunderbuss, so a bit of a shame there. And we do have single bye Seraphim versus the Garfield Enjoyers. But other than that, in terms of our standings, it is Hubble Bubble and Chikara Red, of course, and Yoki's Enjoyers now in the lead.
All three of them up 2-0. Going to be pretty interesting to see all three of them can continue to remain undefeated. I do recognize some of the players on Chikara Red. And I do know they are pretty good for this level of play. Hopefully they can manage to keep on proving that. I'm not too worried about Yoki's Prodigies after that dominant display. I mean, looks like they're going to just take it all the way to the finish. It'll be a huge upset if anybody manages to, take one on them.
I hate to say it, but I can't say much more about We Need Sony emotes. To be honest, it's fun to rag on and really enjoy the kind of KO fest that we got, but there's not much to really, in terms of an identity, analyze here for this team. They never even got the opportunity to play. So I mean, I have my best hopes. Now they are officially 1-on-1. So while I don't think they'll be moving any further forward, like you said kind of earlier, it's about getting that practice, kind of going up against what is a more upper elo or harder squad, and potentially finding, what might be that secret sauce in the future. I don't know what Coach Yoki is cooking, but they got to learn. They got to find the ingredients.
Absolutely. And, we're still waiting on quite a few of these matches to go and get finished. Surplus Esports Academy, another notable team. And I remember Caspor is BestieInSlot. I recognize the name Caspor because I had to cast him for Nerd's Corner 69 Strike. He played incredibly well in the Dubu Forward, just something to mention. So those are a couple of teams I'm personally watching.
It can work. Yeah. It can work. I want everyone to know that it can work. It is not all said and done there. That was maybe not the best representation. We are starting to get some of our other finishers here, though. Cheese Fry Gaming, they come 1-up in their own. Fluffy Pandas LLC against Sony. Salute, please. Different emote. A lot of people are crying for emotes here. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I get it too.
As a personal owner of his own Sony Salute, I can understand where the desire comes from.
I'm sitting here right next to you as a fellow caster, and I don't have my Sony emotes. So what's up with that? Odyssey, if you're watching this, change that. Let's go. My tag, it's Fem Bison. It's right there.
It's not a weird flex. K-Bot. It's just I'm just saying, I apparently it is something that is wanted. I simply took what was given to me, and if everyone else is crying and begging, they cry and beg. I over here will enjoy myself. All right. I'm built different. All right.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, those Sony salutes, they fuel me as I guess.
Absolutely pulling the ladder up from under you. Us commoners, unfortunately, unable to really.
Hold on. I have to type 1, 2, 3 in chat.
We have to type 1, 2, 3 in chat. Got it. Let's go. Got my 1, 2, 3 in there. I think for now, though, a bit of a wait until we get into the next match. I think we cut to a break just for now.
しより諦め悪い挑戦者が上等無駄なプライド投げ打って燃える勇気連発させようか叶わないはずはない誰より強くなりたいそれより自分の弱さに負けたくない最前線へかっ飛ばして勝利目指し放つこのエナジー最高潮で生きがってかつての自分を超えて行け先入観を取っ払ってどんな夢もリアルにするんだ当てて取ってみせるってそうさ
And once again, we are back. What's up, everybody? We're going to be getting to this round 3 here. The final round, Zephyr and I are going to cast, and then we're going to say goodbye. Going to get replaced by K-Bot and Borg. And this is a interesting matchup here. We got 2.5 women and Ducky Men. Personally, 2.5 women is, I think, one of my favorite team names in the bracket so far. But
Hey, it could have been. It is the alternative reality of an incredible TV show that could have hit major standing. No, I'm kidding. But I will say, Ducky Men is almost as good with the namesake themselves, Ducky Man.
True.
On this roster. So like, if we're talking about the strength of 2 names here, I mean, I'd say they even out to a degree.
let's salute to our captain, Ducky Man. I mean, incredible stuff. I hope you can lead your soldiers into a fierce and just incredible battle.
I will update you. Of course, we are now in our respective 3rd round of our Swiss series. So there are some big notables who have started to find their success and are leading the pack here. Obviously, those that we might recognize, Chikara Red up against Hubble Bubble, right? Cursed Gaming going up against the Yoki's Prodigies there from previously. Some other good ones.
I think there was also Caspor is Bis. They're up to
Lobsters
against
United.
Lobsters United. Yeah.
We were waiting on our fish-based friends to finish up some matches here. If you were wondering why we're taking some time, it's lobsters.
I mean, I've been told not to say certain things on stream, so
that's the name of the team. That's the name of the team. It's fair game. As long as that's what they're calling themselves.
That's what they're calling themselves. So yeah, I think it's okay. I'm just,
personally, I'm a big fan of Surplus Esports Academy and Cheese Fry Gaming and that match going on there. Sadly, that's not what we're broadcasting, but I always like to do a big shout out, of course, to Surplus Esports Academy, my main man himself, and obviously the boys on that roster. Got to meet him in person a few weeks ago, so that was super cool. But other than that, yeah, everyone else kind of getting in their laurels, a little bit of their practice here before we send them off and on away. If I am correct, though, going into the final Swiss bracket, if I'm doing the math correctly, I think there's only going to be like 4 matches that are, 3-0, 3-0.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we've got a 2-0, 2-0 match right now, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be stakes are definitely rising a little bit, as we were mentioning before. Like, if you're losing like the 1-1 game, it's not a huge deal, but if you're up 2-0, suddenly you're going the distance, so you're definitely playing for some there's more stakes. You're playing for a bigger win, and we're going to be on perspective of Ducky Men here, hovering the Juno goal. No, not the Juno goal, sorry, the Juno. No, I would love to see it though. I'm
a huge fan. I'm a Juno main, so yeah. I totally represent from time to time. But we will take a look, obviously, here at these starting picks. X, Vice, the 2 bands respectively. Don't quite see where the X is coming into impact here, but maybe that Vice finds its way home.
I think Atlas Lab, good map for brawlers. Just a lot of damage coming out from the black hole. So X and Vice, pretty respectable bands.
Ooh.
Both goalies locking in the Atlas, going to be able to hold one of those barriers for basically eons. Kind of a, Atlas on his maps, as most Omega Strikers players know at this point, a bit unscorable, bit of a 40-year-long slog type of game. So this match looking like it might go pretty long.
It definitely could potentially here, but what I always like about the mirror matchups, especially the Atlas matchups, is, we slowly start seeing your way. I mean, it is a good kind of recognition skill set, but a little bit of delays. Takes a second there, but now back into it. And cool, black hole KO. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to happen a lot on this map. I think even in high-level play, sometimes the core just bounces a weird way and somebody's just going to die immediately. Cat Kupo also opening the barriers pretty early, not quite able to use that expanse to hold. Primetime Enjoyer, just not too much pressure on him right now. He's sitting pretty. And the Estelle primary, you have to evade, clear that. It's just really hard to recognize that situation every so often.
I was about to say, it's literally a blink and you miss it moment. That piercing shot, when it comes through, it's guaranteed in so many situations, especially given the distance that Estelle has. Now we're going to see that firewall sentry come through here from Ketty. I like the fact that we are seeing the delay though. Really nice, the pacing.
Cat Kupo unfortunately going to be able to unable to hold that second barrier so easily, though her forwards, I assume, are doing pretty well for themselves. Though Ducky Man with a good Juno jump strike, just using that slime to get that angle. Good stuff.
I mean, instantly a pass back into perfect position there, gets out in front of Ketty, and then in a situation, finds that first goal here. So already right off the bat, Selena kind of getting a little bit more aggro this time around, able to find that 1-goal barrier off the opposite end of that expanse, and Astral Projection will launch its way over opposite end. Now, Primetime Enjoyer does in fact have that core flip available, so getting this final barrier can be a little bit more difficult.
Right, that turret goes down for that pressure, but the flip goes out from Primetime Enjoyer, and it's just, as you say, just a little bit more work. They're going to have to try this one more time. Great angle from Ketty there. Selenia, it's a flip out, waits out the expanse, and what an angle. Oh my gosh.
The timing! The timing here from Selenia. A perfect situation to kind of wait out a little bit of what could have been a direct kind of ping-pong strike war. I mean, literally straight through their feet there. Right again with that flamethrower. Much more. Wow, Shiroi and Ducky Man incredibly low now from the explosive that black hole.
But it doesn't look like Selenia is actually playing for those KOs. If you look at her positioning, she's here just to, I mean, just as I say, she's here to put that goalie pressure, get that barriers, get the scoring opportunities. And I think it's working out pretty well now that 2.5 women have sort of found their momentum. I mean, these angles from Selenia.
That is, I mean, that is a perfect read. And Waltez going on the top end, drawing Primetime Enjoyer up to the opposite side there, even though the Astral Projection was used. I mean, it is a complete in our opening. So once again, let's see if we can continue to find that forward pressure. 1-goal barrier down, potentially more, but Shiroi quick on the response there.
Unfortunately, Cat Kupo not so quick on the response with the expanse, loses a barrier, and is actually they're going to lose two. Ketty almost dying from the black hole, but they're going to manage to stay alive and get that second barrier. That well-placed turret making good use of that massive pressure from IME Special. We're going to see if Selenia can get a shot off, but not quite. The flip goes out from Ducky Man. Almost gets a bad angle, but manages to thread it through just barely and take the set 3-2 for Ducky Man.
Yeah, a lot of really good, precise angles and kind of a much better response between Shiroi and Ducky Man here in terms of the forward pressure. But I will say, Selenia, really good in terms of really laying that one home. That aerials, though, a wonderful pickup. Twin Drive should be in the hands of Atlas if, yes, there we go. Yeah. It is the steal that comes through. Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
No real options there. Built different, unfortunately, not going to be able to get picked up by Selenia. But having the extra dash, definitely not a bad choice for Juliet. I mean, that stuffing power, that KO power, it's kind of her bread and butter ability.
I will say Timeless Creator, though, still not the worst pickup for Primetime Enjoyer there. Obviously, it's, I mean,
he's also got Manu.
Yeah. So definitely a lot more space to, I mean, geez, look at the intervention. I mean, it takes up half of the map.
Right, yeah, I mean, that we're going to see the expanse go out, and it's just, it might just be galactic size at this point.
Full size. And that's not full size. That's
not full size.
Short. That's stopped short.
That is the full size of Cat Kupo's expanse, though, so that just tells you how much size this dude has on his. We're going to see if Primetime Enjoyer can get this clear, and it's looking like he will. Good stuff from Choi getting the bump, making sure Ketty can't get control of the core there. Ducky Man no longer staggered, able to play a bit more aggro, but I mean, that turret's there. He's just going to have to wait. Not patient enough. He hits it to the turret. And actually, they're going to find a kill on Troy. Selenia just sniping that from nowhere.
I like the ego, too. Immediately, the emote coming out from the return KO. Send the goalie home, and now in a 3v1 situation while Troy is back in. It's a little too late in terms of our pop coming through there from Ketty. First goal.
Great scoring combo from Ketty there. I mean, just like, you know, precise striking, glitch pop placement. That was just some beautiful IME play. Troy gonna come in for this kickoff. Selenia burnt the dash punch, but she still got another dash, as we know, that twin drive. Troy looking to get that cross up, but Cat Kupo reads it pretty well. The expanse goes out, loses one, but that's okay on this map. You know, both Atlas is really looking to just play for the one barrier. Primetime releases his, and I mean, that timeless Manu, you're not gonna have many opportunities to get around that. Cat Kupo with the flip up, going to be harder for Ducky Man to capitalize, but with Selenia dead, that might even out the odds a bit of getting this barrier. We're going to see if Shroy can do something here, but a good expanse from Cat Kupo keeps the opportunities at bay, and once again, the flip goes out, and they're going to be managing to stall for Selenia.
Meanwhile, hold back into play here is going to put Shiroi really low here, force that elusive out of Kitty off of that Rose Warp there. Pop missing out as Kupo this time around, bit of a miff bounce there, finds that second barrier. Things now open, but notably Shiroi can't play this one out, can't be that passing entity with Selenia. Once again, putting pressure, breaks stagger.
And a good flip from Primetime Enjoyer almost scores Kakupo. Great reactions there on the expansion, enters the hold. And Selenia's going to be able to capitalize, find another barrier. Both goes open, and the slimes so fast in overtime. I mean, very hard to react to that mix-up when the court is going a million miles an hour. Ducky Man capitalizing on the timer there.
Literally perfect setup there for Ducky Man. A nice response found, especially after what was so much punishment engulfed by both these forwards. Usually kind of see them playing more directly together, and that right there, that's just perfect geometry.
Yeah.
An absolute wash on both barriers. The Sentry's going to try, but Expanse says no.
I mean, I'm surprised that didn't go in. Selenia also had the dash punch in there. Great expanse from Primetime Enjoyer, I guess. Ducky Man looking to find this clear. Selenia again with another dash punch, but Ducky's going to find it, and Troy sniping it in just off the edge of Kupo's strike range.
I was about to say, it's that piercing shot. We talked about it at the very beginning of this game, and the fact that you can have such an absurd distance to have a little bit more of that double strike range. And while, yes, Cat Kupo was out of range, it still is so impactful. Energy missed there on Selenia, and Ducky and Shiroi will look for the response. But hey, the gravity pulls that one away a little bit. Bit of miss.
And now, actually, something I'm noticing is that Ducky Man's slimes are doing some real damage. The Monumentalist Juno slimes are hitting like a truck. I mean, just look at Selenia's health bar. Step on one too many, and it's gone. The flip goes out from Shiroi there, but Ketty manages to find the barrier. Unfortunately, they're going to go down a barrier on the other side. But once again, this is the map where it's very hard to hold to, especially as a melee goalie. Ducky Man threading a slime in, but going to die for it. We're going to see if 2.5 women can capitalize here on the striker advantage. The flip goes out from Ketty, but Primetime, I mean, he knows where to stand. Look at him. He's not even moving. He doesn't care. Oh my god.
Yeah. Even into the double dash there. Selenia still can't find that bear, and that is more than enough time. It is going to be that forced energy, but keeping Primetime in it is more than valuable in terms of that cost and effect. Troy going to take that entire black hole, but they are still 2 up in terms of setting up for what could be this entire set here.
Good turret from Ketty managed to find the clear and the barrier. Unfortunately, the Expanse not going to be able to hold. What a cyber swipe. I mean, that was such a fast core. Being able to read where that's going to go and like how that's going to corner perfectly for you to blink that core right in. Incredible stuff from Ketty just now.
Literally a second and you miss it. That's the first time, though, that we've really seen Ketty step forward to get more into the play here, and that's usually where you see these IMEs begin to be a lot more impressionable and have their impact. And for Selenia, you get to see just as much how that impact comes through for Juliet.
I mean, that was just an incredible kill combo there. Linking into the core flip, I mean, they're showing us some new tech. Troy able to find both barriers, though, so the punish not too big, but both teams down a barrier now. Tense situation right here. It's 2-2 again. Both of these sets have been pretty close, you know.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
I mean, literally 2-2 both times around. This time around, Troy with that core flip. It is going to be the Expanse that stops things out here, and they find the KO in response. 2v3 situation might be what 2.5 women need.
Surprised Cat Kupo doesn't go for the flip shot there. I mean, you have like free reign in the midfield here. And whiffs the flip. No! Oh, that's so unfortunate.
Oh. That is
commentator's curse. That's commentator's curse to the absolute max.
That is a stinging result there. That is never something any goalie wants to see, especially when you are that far past the half-point line. And now potentially one set away from defeat.
I mean, the carousel shows that for the most part, I mean, 2.5 women were playing a little better there. Surprised nobody's yoinked the Egoist or Catalyst yet. Those meter awakening's pretty good, and just as I say it, Juliet's just going to grab it. I mean, Selenia probably going to be able to make some huge use of Catalyst. She's been getting a lot of hits in. The Missile Prop from Juno, an interesting choice. Gravity, you know, the #1 Juno player, has talked about in the past how Missile Prop makes it harder to place slimes where he wants them. But at the same time, the extra damage and range might prove to be beneficial.
and to be honest, it's what you have to work with here. They will find some big damage, but with those interventions both out on the field, no one is going to be saying goodbye, well, at least until they time out.
Cad Kupo with a great expanse finding the kill there. I mean, utilizing that monumentalist size. Primetime Enjoyer playing a little bit forward, seeing some Yeesh style play. Selenia going to be able to dash punch the core right into the Primetime's barrier, though, finding the punish. The flip is up for Selenia. That catalyst really, paying off very quickly, but Primetime also has his own flip. We're going to see who is going to be able to make use of it first. The whip flip goes out from Selenia, and Primetime finds his own hits just around 2.5 women's forward duo. But Kedi able to keep the pressure going by finding a KO on Ducky Man.
Ducky Man there, the namesake gone in a way, but Shiroi will still deliver in the face of no one being back. An expanse is just too good, and Primetime is caught out nowhere close to where they need to be.
I mean, I think it's how are you going to expect that expanse to angle it that way, especially with the black hole? Just a bit unfortunate. Definitely an Atlas Lab specific kind of moment there. Selenia going to be able to find that top barrier. What an angle. Looking for the second one. I mean, she's been precise all match. We're going to see if she can continue that streak. Kedi looking to hold some midfield pressure, finds the pass to Selenia, and Selenia is going to be able to capitalize. Great passing play there from the forward duo on Cat Kupo, of course, holding the back line very well right now. The flip still up for Cat Kupo and 2 barriers. It looks like 2.5 women are in prime position to capitalize here, and they do.
At that point, when you're letting Kedi and Selenia take that much space forward, you're basically asking for that to go in there, and I can't blame Primetime Enjoyer. I mean, there was a lot of damage expended, a lot of cooldowns put through here on the stacker, but they never quite could deliver on really responding. You could see how quickly Selenia and crew can put it in response. It is almost the wipe, but a good save there from Primetime.
Selenia waiting out the intervention, looks for the kill on Troy, can't find it. But the flip does go out from Kupo, and it puts the core in a promising position for 2.5 women. Troy living on absolutely nothing 2 times over. Great clear from Kupo there. We're going to see if Selenia can survive this time while still putting on the offensive pressure. She is not scared. And I wouldn't be either. I mean, Juno, while it does a lot of damage, not too much KO pressure. Great intervention from Cat Kupo there. And actually, Selenia and Troy both going to survive while Ducky Man is on stagger. Juno, the slime goes out, unfortunately sneaking it right behind the barrier. 2.5 women on the back foot here.
Well, I wouldn't say for long there. Immediately where it counts. It's up to Shiroi to once again put this past the midfield, but into the hands of Selenia. It's going to be a miss on the core flip, and just barely is the block found there from Primetime Enjoyer, but you can't defend when they get that close. It is the first step picked up here for 2.5 women, but they've got a long way to go.
I mean, I think the momentum has swung pretty heavily in their favor. I mean, they only lost the last set to a bit of unfortunate, but I think they're playing better now, especially that 3-0 showing up. Both those sets were close. We're going to see if they can actually just take it all the way from this point.
I think it's the scaling. I mean, and Juliet, no, I mean, seriously, coming into more of an aggressive, sense, stability, etc., and they finally get there, and now they can dominate. I mean, it is something that Estelle and Juno have problems with.
Absolutely, and Cat Kupo going to be able to find the Ponderer and Juliet with the Big Fish. Both big pickups for 2.5 women, having that cooldown reduction every time you pick up an orb. Huge for Atlas, especially with how long his best ability is on cooldown for. And the fire up from Primetime Enjoyer going to be interesting to see if his team can capitalize on that speed every time he core flips.
Shiroi here able to find one, a good make it rain, and the rest for an immediate goal, something they could not even find in the entirety of last set. That's that wombo combo that we've been waiting to see from Shiroi and Ducky Man, and they've got some time till they're next, so can they endure?
Absolutely. Though we are seeing the effects of Selenia and Kedi's damage focus play now with them both being up in level. We're going to see if they can continue that pressure. Though Cat Kupo, unfortunately, going to lose both barriers. Troy and Ducky Man playing incredibly well. Good shot placement from them. Troy with the flip. The fire up speed is kicking into effect as well from Primetime. We're going to see if Troy can get the core flip out. Seems like he doesn't need to score, but great save from Cat Kupo. He's going to use it, and he's going to find that top corner shot.
Jeez. And this time around, I like it. Yeah. Shiroi and Ducky Man really not Selenia and Kedi get that forward foot. We saw how much they were able to invest and really put pressure back down at the Primetime Enjoyer, and they're trying to make sure that they can't do that again. Now, this time around, is looking a little bit worse for wear, but barrier for barrier, they keep it even. Oh.
Absolutely. Or, you know, actually, Shroy going to be able to find two. And unfortunately, Duckman just snaking it down there. Shroy with the, Shroy with the stealth special, and it's going to go straight in. Not much you can do to defend that. Even if you manage to strike, it's just getting hit right back to you. And Duckman.
I'll tell you what, it's a minor hiccup in the face of Duckyman there. 2.5 women, they find what felt like you said, a swing within the momentum, especially through Selena. Look at those stats. I mean, truly had that best foot, but didn't quite, replicate what we had seen there in our third set.
Unfortunately not. And I mean, there's something to be said about Primetime Enjoyer absolutely holding it down. There was a moment where he was just standing still saying like, you're not going to score on me. And he was able to hold that barrier. So great defensive play from their goalie there. But I mean, look at these angles from Selenia. Hopefully we're going to see 2.5 women come back the next time and put up an undefeated performance. But it will be interesting to see how that goes.
Remarkable start, at least for them, and well, for Duckyman, it's now their step forward. Now 3-0, I believe, up on the board. They'll go up against those of the competitors that have managed to do the same here. I believe to get a quick check to see exactly where we are in the standings right now. Yoki's Prodigies still up and with it. Hubble Bubble finding their wins as well. Casport is, I believe, I'll say Biz for now. Casport is Biz, and Cheese Fry Gaming and Luna Goalie. These are your other teams who have also found equivalent score lines after at least the most recent set of matches.
Absolutely. You know, something to say, I think earlier we mentioned that we were going to see about 4, I think, if you did your math right, but it was actually 6. There were 12 teams going into this 3-0. So we will, 2-0, I should say.
Right.
So we'll see 6 teams going into it 3-0. Only 3 teams are actually going to make it to the Invitational. That's that's a pretty big deal. Some pretty big stuff.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your last opportunity to make this one count here. It is about as good as it gets, especially if you're in the face of holding this 3-0. Props, though, to our last match. I mean, I personally really enjoyed watching 2.5 women, especially as they really did start to reel that one back in. I was leaning towards the, you let Julia get out of hand. You're all done now. No, but I mean, it was a immaculate lesson here in the end.
I mean, Duckyman able to easily hold on there. I mean, that was just incredible stuff to stop that momentum. Selenia, though, there is something to be said about her forward play and shot selection. Those angles in set 1, every set, she was just finding shots that looked like they should have missed, but they just didn't. They were just going in time after time.
I mean, quintessential pro Juliet play there, and it's something that, honestly, while we will see some additional matches, it won't be that of our kind of 3-0s right here. It will be pulling this one out in a way, and so I will say I am excited, especially for the next series when it comes to the rest of the amateur weeks that we do have available. See how that may improve. Might get a little bit more dominant. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being 2-0. I mean, you are this close to walking into the face of almost a perfect run there. So can't quite be that far off.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think the quality of play is there for every team that is 2-0 right now. It's not like 2.5 women played substantially worse. It was pretty close. Both those first 2 sets they lost, and both teams had a bit of like a 3-0 swing. So I think that could have really gone either way, just a bit luckier on some interactions for 2.5 women, and they would really might have come out on top there. That was a close match for sure. And I think a lot of teams are sort of in a similar position.
Well, with that being said, any last thoughts, though, regarding the day from what we've seen, not just here in this match, but potentially the last 2 as well, Fem?
I'm for sure there was some high quality play, especially for an amateur series, especially coming out from Yoki's Prodigies. I mean, what is there to say?
That's a little different. I know that's high quality play. That's highway robber.
Is it? I mean, robbery implies they were going to lose. I don't think
they were robbing their souls, stealing them and carting them away to the underworld as quick as possible. Chiron's boat turned into a motor. They absolutely. I mean, it was entertaining.
It was absolutely entertaining.
And like you said, kind of other than that, I mean, it was definitely good play from across the board.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that's it for us two. We're going to cut to a break and hand off the mic in the future to Borg and K-Bot. Good to see you guys for an amateur series, and we'll be
Bye.
sending out.
I don't understand what's going on here. Give me a break, give me a break. I don't understand what's going on here. Give me a break, give me a break. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand. I said it before and I'll say it again, 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 again. I said it before and I'll say it again, 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 again. I said it before and I'll say it again, 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 again. I said it before and say it again, again, again. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't understand what's going on here.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Omega Strikers Amateur Series. My name is K-Bot, and I am joined by Borg. Borg, we've got 3 more matches that will determine which teams will actually end up qualifying for the Invitational at the end of this OSAS season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. The cool thing with me in this amateur series is that I actually know very little of these players. Like, I'm not able to really key with them, a little bit too high, and then I'm not really, we haven't really seen a lot of them. They're kind of coming out of nowhere. So it's unlike the NASL, which we cast before. We don't have all the stats, and we don't have all the player names, really. Or we have the player names, but we don't really have all the stats for everyone, so we don't really know what to expect.
And yet, Borg, these players are still going to be better than I am. So I'm going to rely on you to drop the knowledge, and I'll just talk loudly about the game. We're heading to Demon Days for our first map here between Casper's Biss and Cheese Fry Gaming. No, I was lied. I was lied to. This is a different game. We're going to double check on some things and get back to you on that one, because that was not true. But presumably... we're going to be watching Casper is Biz versus Cheese Fry Gaming, and actually, we'll be watching all 3 qualifying matches. So the way this isn't going to be a best of 3. It'll be 3 different rounds that we'll get to see in this, like, it's the final 4th round, right? And every undefeated team that makes it out of the Swiss stage will end up qualifying for the Invitational hosted at the end of the season. So a lot is on the line, Borg, in these last matches, and everything for the night so far has been leading up to this moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was only able to catch this last round since I was busy earlier. So I was kind of saying a bit earlier, I'm going into it even like more blind than anyone else. I briefly kind of looking at the teams here. There are some names I do recognize, some people I have seen, in Discords and houses, on the ladder earlier on. But I mean, I guess a couple things I'm pretty excited for is just seeing. I'm kind of excited to see the character, like the comps and the team comps around this, because in pro we kind of have a thing going on where it's 1 to 4 team comps that everyone kind of runs, and it's pretty easy to determine what's going to happen based on the map. I feel like they're going to throw some wild ones at SK Bot.
Well, and that's the thing, right? At this level, it kind of comes down much more to who you are going to play better, or which striker you're going to play better, rather than like which striker technically beats another, right? So you might end up seeing some strikers you never see in pro play entirely. I want to say that there was like a few more Dubus probably as I was like glancing over at the stream on occasion. And so I imagine we'll see things like that, where at the end of the day, it's going to be all about which strikers these players are most comfortable on, not necessarily which strikers actually are going to be maybe, you know, this whole best in slot idea, right? So should be certainly interesting to watch there. And the other thing too, like I was saying, right, everything's leading up to this moment for these teams. They've been playing all night, of course, and this might be the closest that they're able to get into actually qualifying for that late season invitational. So they definitely don't want to throw their shot away. As a reminder, folks, I saw some questions in the chat. This will still be best of 1 game. So there's not going to be second chances. It'll be 1 map, 1 set of starter awakenings, and the teams will dive right in. And then, like I said, we'll be watching each of the 3 matches that will be teams qualifying for the invitational. So that should be fun and exciting to come on back to as well. So still waiting on getting this first one set up for us here. But Borg, as we take a look at the standings, I will pull those up really briefly here and we'll take a look. So after 3 rounds of the Swiss stage, 6 teams were undefeated, one of which is Yoki's Prodigies. We saw that earlier play, of course. Some of us are familiar with at least one of the players here on Yoki's Prodigy.
Yeah, I think, 2 out of 3 of Yoki's Prodigies I've definitely played with a lot, and I think I was honestly surprised to see them here. I thought that they were a lot higher up on there, and that's no knock on them. Maybe they haven't been playing as much, but Jumper in particular, he actually took me out in the... It was during the beta of like the public test, I guess, before game release. There was this public tournament that went on, and me and 2 other players, we've never played with each other before, but 2 other supposedly high-level players played against them and their college team, Jumper's college team, and they took us out of that tournament actually in the grand finals. So definitely expecting a lot of things from him. And let me make sure who else is on that roster.
Lexus is the other one.
Oh, Lexus, yeah.
That people are familiar with.
Yeah, I actually met Lexus in person. Great guy, you know. He actually is, if people didn't know, a substitute for an NASL Pro League team as well. So
surely.
I'm pretty sure he's played a match because he had the sub in.
I don't...
once,
No, I think it was a
recall
different
correctly.
sub that had to play in.
Oh, was it?
I had to remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was a different sub. Yeah. Okay, he has not played an NASL match, but he is a substitute. He's on the roster, so.
Most of you don't know the lore. Imagine seeing the Discord username 2004 Lexus GX470 in the official Omega Strikers Discord server, and just getting a response of like whatever like thing you're ranting about, and their ping response is play better, win more. And that's it. That's the only thing that guy posted for like a month. Okay, so that's the lore. That's where the name comes from. And that's where the phrase comes from as well. And anyway, going back to the rest of our standings, Caspor is Biss sitting 2nd, Duckyman 3rd, Cheese Fry Gaming, Luna Goalie, and Hubble Bubble round out our remaining 6 undefeated teams. And of course, we'll be getting into our first match here. It is between Cheese Fry Gaming and Caspor is Biss. And now we're in the right lobby. I know because I recognize the rosters here. We're starting Borg on Night Market.
Yeah, Night Market, honestly, I don't think anything too crazy is going to pop out. We might see, probably, I wouldn't be surprised for a couple debuts. Pretty popular low elo goalie, and actually recently a very popular high elo goalie. And as I say that, the debut does get banned, as well as the Luna. So we'll have to see. It should be, a Rune goalie's being hovered. I actually am very excited to see that, because that is notoriously known as a very difficult goalie to pull off. And some say a little bit of a boring goalie to pull off, but I kind of like it. I think it's pretty interesting. So we get a Kai lock in and an Era from the other side. And then we should see a Drakkar here as well. And we'll have to see what the other team locks in.
Other thing that's
Julie.
notable, right? The Luna goalie banned away from Twee, who is
Yeah.
a player that has been around for a while, and I believe they actually got pretty high on the leaderboard in beta, right, Borg?
I'm pretty sure they were top 10 the entire time.
Yeah.
So, you know, a little bit of a fall from grace, but hopefully we'll see the build back up, you know, and kind of get back into it. Actually, wait, Twee is playing forward.
Twee is playing forward under the name not General Twee, so surely this is not the same person that was top 10 in beta as we get on underway. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Excited to see this one here.
Yeah, and as we get in here, one barrier for each side, and wow, already a quick KO here. The Shrink actually into the Julie Dash Punch, gets that second barrier. Great use of the power play here. As Kai is respawning in about 5 seconds, we should see the power play's over here, yeah. So we should see the Era and the Julie kind of just go back to default and try to get a goal here.
Worth noting for the record, folks, that the starter awakenings were Big Fish and Deadeye, if you didn't quite catch that a moment ago. Not the most impactful starter awakenings in the world, but the characters are slightly larger, so your eyes do not deceive you. Beautiful dribble up off the wall here for Caspor to put the first goal back.
Well, actually, I'm going to tag back to those awakenings because you said it was Big Fish and Deadeye. And Deadeye is actually... Oh, okay, so the Amy does not take Deadeye, even though Deadeye is arguably one of Amy's best trainings as a goalie, because you are always much further away from the enemy. So Deadeye is going to be putting in a lot of damage. And Big Fish is actually probably Juliet's second best training right behind Build Different. So definitely very impactful here for this game specifically.
Certainly things that each striker is looking to pick up. I'm just saying, like, it's not something that everyone wants, like Stinger or something. So, not quite
now.
Game defining. Oh yeah, I forgot it was removed. Yeah, I should go back into my notes there. But in any event, barriers open here. Core flip up. Caspor going to be able to punch that one back. Beautifully done and executed in order to make sure that there's really nothing you can do on the goal line to save that.
Yeah, and I mean, General Tweed just kind of keeping midfield locked down. Great strikes, great strike placement, giving Caspor the rock every single time. And Caspor's converting. I mean, really, really happy with his performance so far, and I'm excited to see what he can kind of pull out the rest of this game.
KO takes Twee off of the map already. Caspor trying to maintain some level of core possession here, but it looks like it will fall back on over to Cheese Fry Gaming. And we'll see them start to try to take some of these goal barriers, but seems like the pressure's been being kept up for the most part by this Red side.
Yeah, I mean, Red side's pretty much dominating the whole time. They're kind of up in KOs the entire time, usually on a power play. Caspor's actually getting pretty low here, so he could die. We'll have to see if he can survive as Twee gets banished, but nothing will come of it. And then they'll just be returning to midfield here.
Now we see that second goal barrier taken away for Caspor's Bist. They'll be looking to try to convert here. Worth noting, Banana there, the IME goalie, does have core flip. Might be looking to make a dash play forward the second that those cooldowns come back up. And overall, you also see that Caspor struggling to actually get into position forward. But now that one will actually slip right on by. It's a quick 3-0 set here early on for Caspor's Bist.
Yeah, so I mentioned right at the start of the game, the Rune goalie notoriously very difficult to pull off. The reason being is that his cooldowns are not the shortest, so you definitely have to make them all very impactful. And because your character model is so tiny, you know, kind of slim guy, he's got the lean build, he can't reach the core a lot of the time, as we just saw there. Just one little stray hit, and that'll go in. And if we look at the Awakenings here, Juliet with the build difference, so she is now going to be huge. With Built Different, Big Fish, we get Fire It Up, one of the new trainings that whenever you core flip, it actually gives your team a speed buff and a little bit of energy. So that training and that awakening, actually very impactful. Excited to see that. Castellas on the Rune, and I believe it was Peak Performance on Era and Aerials for the Amy, which another very good training. So I'm expecting kind of around the same as the first set here, K-Bot.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned there that Shizkaku was kind of struggling a little bit with maybe some of those cooldowns and doesn't actually have anything on that carousel allowing for faster cooldowns at all for those primaries to come back up even more. But nonetheless, Mandingo up here putting on a little bit of pressure with that lock and load, and now KO comes through. Caspor taken off of the map. potential power play opportunity here, but a nice core flip out of Twee keeps this one away from the open goal line. You see Banana trying to cyber swipe forward, but now is going to be forced to retreat. We'll see if this one can try to convert, but of course there's enough members around here from Caspor's Biss in order to take care of this one. We see it start to get converted the other way. First goal barrier down. Caspor fiery flurry. That'll get dodged away nonetheless. But a Giga Blast comes out here of Dire to send that one back. Beautiful angle there in order to put it back.
Yeah, I mean, great Giga Blast from Dire. The awareness to kind of catch that clear and just remove that opportunity from I Am a Banana. The only way Banana really actually gets that is if he hits it way earlier, or if he evades the Giga Blast and then hits it after, which is extremely hard to do. So don't expect him to save that there. That was a very, very good Giga Blast by Dire.
Yeah, for the record, Banana's had core flip up this whole time, right? Has that energy burst. Doesn't want to throw that one away and might be potentially looking to make an offensive play here, but now both goal barriers down. Caspor still causing a little bit of trouble with the front lines. Nice banish is going to stall things out for just a moment, but you'll notice a lot of these players right now, Cheese Fry Gaming, playing closer to the goal line, and that's one of those positions where this Juliet could just walk right up, bully you back. Yeah,
kind of pretty classic. A little bit of a team mistake there. They kind of all started stacking right on top of that Juliet and right on top of where, you know, the Amy can dash in, get that core flip, and then Juliet punches straight in. So stacked there, no one was really able to receive the clear. Really, the only thing to stop it there was that rune core flip, but he is saving it for this next round. Let's see if he can make use of it here.
Caspor finds the dash punch away. Energy burst will not connect. Still looking for this second barrier now. Mandingo, though, coming back forward here on this Drakkar, and seems as though this core is slipping away from the forwards a little bit. They don't appear to have a lot of this, and it seems like Banana's finding a lot of these clear angles around where some of these projectiles are trying to come in from.
Yeah, and honestly, fairly good round here from the side of Cheese Fry Gaming. I believe that's their team name. I don't have my notes in front of me. So actually, I say as I say that, both I Caster's Curse in there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Great play from Caspor there to win that strike war, take that top barrier, and then just stuff it in right at the end. So switch it up there, you know, 2-1. I think Cheese Fry definitely have a chance to come back here, but they're gonna have to really put in the miles here to get kind of secure this set.
And worth noting, Chizkaku has that energy burst up at his disposal, so got that as well for this rune goalie as another get out of jail free card. We'll be looking for this one, and now starting to see this come together here. Mandingo able to find one barrier with that lock and load, but again, possession right on over to Caspor and Twee. The banish will come through though, and now looking to try to keep up the pressure. There we go, other goal barrier down, but the dash is going to come right through. Energy burst comes out as well, looking for the cheap shot there to the corner, but it gets sent away nonetheless. Cheese Fry Gaming holds the defensive side for now, and the Juliet's exhausted nearly everything at her disposal. Open nets both sides, and just as I say that, of course, the cooldowns come back online. The core falls right in front of the Juliet. Dash punch into the goal.
Yeah, I believe the dash actually literally just came up. If I know my cooldowns correctly, that was within a few seconds at the very most. So let's get into this next draft here, see if anything can come online for Cheese Fry Gaming for him to get this comeback. And as we get, I expect the Juliet to take the prime time away from the rune here. Definitely one of rune's best trainings in the goalie slots. Takes rapid fire instead, kind of like a slightly worse prime time. You get a little more cooldown, but you do not get another charge, so you can't use them quite as quick. Twin Drive going on to the Drakkar, Orb Dancer going on to the Amy, very strong training as well. Bulk Up, and then Heavy Impact actually going to the Kai. So that'll make those Gigas a little bit more scary, so definitely watch out for that.
We'll see if those Giga Blasts can continue connecting, but nonetheless here, I mean, you figure this Twee on this era going to be super large, have quite an impact on the map, and of course won't have that impact when you get banished away by the rune, but nonetheless, still having both of those size trainings coming in for her as well, and so many just large characters on the screen. Then you figure the Bewitching Beam combos into that as well. And there are going to be some pretty large bullies on the stage here.
Yeah, Juliet with the prime time, the 5% damage increase, as well as the build different for that extra impact damage increase. You know, it's Juliet is just going to be a monster in this game. and definitely look out. As we've seen all game, Caspor really just scoring almost, I think, every single goal, actually. Maybe except for one. If I remember, Amy might have got that one.
Oh.
Say that Mandingo with a beautiful dribble into the shotgun. You definitely have to watch out for that Drakkar primary because it is a very, very difficult one to stop. You have to time your strike perfectly to save it, and they just couldn't do it right there.
And tell you what, here on the front lines, Mandingo has actually been doing a fantastic job of keeping that core possession, especially when he's able to dribble it off of that corner. So comes into play there for the goal, but needs to find a few more plays just looking like that, and rather quickly here on the side of Cheese Fry Gaming in order to stay alive with the hopes of trying to qualify there. Twee going to burn the energy burst here, and one goal barrier down. Now the second goal barrier going to fall as well, and Mandingo uses that Night Market speed boost, gets back up to the core, looking for the shot here towards the net, but General Twee still in position in order to try to defend this. You see the Castellas banish as well. Takes Caspor out of things for a large while, and it's still in the possession of Sprite Gaming, though as I say that, KO comes through. And Twee and Caspor will be looking for this last goal barrier. Core flip used. That'll get sent back the other direction, though, and now we'll go very slowly on over to Banana. This core is going around the world for now, and Caspor able to come up with another punch away. It'll be a 4 KO streak already for the team's namesake.
Yeah, and I mean, just the big difference here is because we see Mandingo and Drakkar really getting all the barriers. Like I said, they're still up in barriers right now. And as I say, that great core flip from Banana to save Mandingo's shot there on that Drakkar primary. But Caspor just taking them off the map over and over again. And I expect to see another KO here very soon, if not an energy burst, as we see right there. Gets the barrier. Now it's an even playing field, K-Bot. This could be anyone's game.
Finds the angle there. Mandingo had the lock and load, looking for it again, but no, it'll still get sent away from Banana, but still able to find the angle there. Top corner and in. And Mandingo going to put Cheese Fry Gaming ahead in this set as they still look for their first set.
I mean, Drakkar, he's got the suit on, he's looking his best, he's feeling his best, and he's playing his best this game.
Shrimply business for the Drakkar here as see what else happens. Fiery Flurry going to get interrupted by the anormality here, and we'll see what else comes in, but you see Banana starting to get super involved. There's the turret, and now all of a sudden, both goal barriers fall in the blink of an eye. Caspor trying to get in position here for the core. Gets sent away by Dyer's Giga Blast, trying to just buy a little bit, an ounce of space for Cheese Fry Gaming, who's looking to try to keep the momentum alive in this set. Mandingo, again, using that lock and load, trying to send that back towards the barrier, but having mixed success because it's not quite as good at sending that core one direction as the Juliet dash. Caspor sends another one back.
And I mean, just kind of same thing as it's been going, you know? Really, Cheese Fry Gaming has had a much better set this time around, but they just can't stop Caspor. Really, all the times they've been able to score is when they've kept it away from Caspor rather than actually, you know, taking Caspor off the map or stopping Caspor. So definitely, I think they should know the plan here by now. Keep it away from the Juliet. This is a very scary Juliet. Let Mandingo cook. We kind of know what's going on here. Let's see if they can pull it off.
It turns out that you might not want to give the core to the person who the team's named after, as
true.
it goes here. Now, nice defense, though, coming out of these players. And now Energy Burst used. Dyer, once again, buys some space here, but is playing very far back, and now is going to get knocked away by the Maelstrom. Caspor looking for Cheesekaku here again, bullying them away. It is going to be able to find it to the bottom corner here as well. And now, all of a sudden, it's match point for Caspor's best.
Yeah, match point. I mean, Cheese Fry Gaming's got a lot to battle back here. Really tough game, but I think they have the puzzle, right? They have the tools. They just need to figure out how to put it together.
Dyer trying to find a way forward. Mandingo going to be able to find the dribble to themselves off of the wall. There's the first barrier gone here. Still looking to stay alive. Fiery Flurry and the strike actually going to be able to combo here. Energy Burst used. And now again, another Energy Burst used out of Cheesekaku that time. Buying space, spun things out for a moment, but once again, Caspor is procured the rock, and it finds the net again. Caspor's Biss will be the first team out of Qualifier 2 to get the invite.
Yeah, Caspor is Biss. Truly. I mean, we'll take a look at the stats here. I believe Caspor had pretty much 99% of those goals. And I'm curious to see the number of KOs. 6 KOs, 8 goals, and then I was right. Yeah, Amy did have one of the goals with a core flip going across the map with that aerials blink. So yeah, I mean, amazing performance by all of them. Really, Twee in the midfield kind of just creating and keeping that pressure out. Keeping it away from Mandingo, the Drakkar, that really tried his hardest. I salute to him, man, because he played his heart out. Definitely had, I mean, 2 goals, KO. A lot of damage going in. It just felt like that they had all the tools, but they just weren't quite there. I mean, Caspor is just a force to deal with.
The other thing, though, too, right, is let's not underestimate the power of a midfield player here, right? Twee with the 5 assists as well, being able to make sure that Clore gets on up to Caspor in so many of those vital situations in order to actually find and convert onto some of those, goals and actually translate into something there. And fortunately, we didn't see a lot of the same forward presence out of Dyer, I think. And that was one of the things where, it was 2 members forward or always trying to look for the pass to one another. And oftentimes, not even, to Dyer's fault completely. He was often getting bullied away, racking up a lot of damage, and then sometimes even had to help out the Rune goalie on the back lines.
Yeah, honestly, the main problem wasn't necessarily the player. I believe that Kai Ford, especially on Night Market, it's just not really the greatest pick in the world. It can work, but usually when you see a Kai Forward, you want to see a more open map where you're not going to get KO'd as much, like Aten City, like Oni Village, kind of maps like those, right? And so what we kind of saw that game is Caspor just bullying the Kai, right, over and over again. There's no death stat, but I wish that we could almost see that, because just kill after kill after kill, it felt like. Right, just on that Juliet, he has a much easier time at converting with that dash punch, whereas Kai, can convert with the barrage, but it's a lot harder because you have to put yourself in a much more dangerous situation there on Night Market.
Right, and that was the other thing too, right, is that we didn't see a lot of KOs out of the forwards from the other side. That Drakkar-Kai combination, not necessarily known, might, rack up a little bit of damage, but doesn't have a lot of those heavy-hitting impact abilities to send those members flying off of this stage. So nonetheless, Cheese Fry Gaming, hoping to see you all back here for the 3rd qualifier, and they'll have one last chance to try to secure an invite. And of course, welcome Caspor Isbis into the fray. We'll be tuning in for our next match in just a bit. Reminder, folks, we've still got a few more up. And next up will be Yoki's Prodigies versus Hubble Bubble, as these 2 teams come together. And we got to watch a little bit of Yoki's Prodigies earlier today. They were able to take an incredibly convincing victory, and I'm excited to see what they can do in their qualifying match.
Okay. And I believe it should be starting in just a second. Yep, apologies. I was checking something real quick. But yeah, I'm excited to... Awkward silence there a little bit. I was definitely checking just to make sure something real quick, but I'm more excited to see how this works, and I'm curious to see what server this is on, because I do know that Masked Samurai on Hubble Bubble, if I believe that is correct, lives in Hawaii. So that means that on West Ping, it's still about 80 or 90, and on East Ping, it's like 150. So if this is an East game, it's going to be a little bit hard, but I expect with that kind of, server difference and that location difference, it should be a West Ping game, and we'll have to see if Yoki's Prodigies can actually adapt to that, because I do know a lot of those players actually live closer to the East Coast.
And to break this down for you, right, folks, obviously, all of this comes down to ping on a lot of cases. That little bit of ounce of extra reaction time does make a significant difference in how this specific game feels. We're heading to Atlas's lab for this one. You saw the bans on your screen, both Luna and Atlas goalie positions taken away. The Luna ban comes out again here, Borg.
Yeah, I mean, I like to say that I'm not surprised, but I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit tainted by Hilo. No one really picks the character in Hilo except like me sometimes, Vaughn sometimes, and a couple other players that will like pick it rarely on maybe Atlas Lab. But every other map, really no one. I mean, it is Atlas Lab, so maybe that's why the ban came through. But I do know it is a very popular character at these lower kind of mid elos, right? So, we'll have to see if it was actually very impactful here, as 3 pretty strong characters on that other side are coming in.
Yeah, I see the rest of those compositions coming through. It'll be Drakkar Estelle Juliet versus the Zentaro Aimi Drakkar there as well. And a little bit of a different style here. Starter Awakening is going to be Spark of Focus and Tempo Swing coming out again. And Lexus got to be feeling pretty nice having that Tempo Swing for the Juliet.
Yeah, and if we take a quick look at the bottom right here, actually, you can see the ping. We are on West servers, if I am getting it correct here. So we'll have to see if Jumper and Lexus can kind of adapt to slightly higher ping. I don't think it should be too big of a deal for them. They've played plenty of solo queue, plenty of West games, so I'd say it definitely isn't the biggest of deals as they get both the barriers down here and are looking for a goal here early on.
You see Razzie continuing to keep up that pressure with that strike shot on the Drakkar. One of these things that Drakkar goalie can do quite well is continue to have those long-range projectiles, and 2 KOs found a second apart out of both Lexus and Jumper. We'll be looking for this one here, and it will go back. All 3 get involved in the first goal for Yoki's Prodigies.
I mean, yeah, just lots of damage coming through. I believe the Siphoning Wand on the Estelle, as it looks like. Great, a lot of damage coming through. Securing the KOs on the Julie and the Estelle. Both secured their separate KOs within a second of each other, so they were able to just have that 10-12 seconds just to pass it in between each other and, you know, find that goal.
But hang on a second here, because Hubble Bubble looking to respond right on back as you see both goal barriers fall almost instantly, and the power play opportunity as well. Zairi trying to dash forward, will be able to find the KO there onto Razzie. It'll be looking for this last one here, trying to find the passing plays, but again, Jumper in position to try to interrupt things. Dash forward from Lexus, almost leaves an opening, but still able to be sent away nonetheless. And sometimes, Borg, a lot of those power plays are a little more difficult to capitalize on than I think a lot of people give credit for.
Yeah, I mean, I think they played that fairly well. Those are just absolutely beautiful saves by Razzie and then by Lexus right at the end there to get rid of that, to outtime, that Zentaro primary. And then another power play here, so they're just on the advantage right here. But Razzie with a beautiful primary hit it around Masked Samurai across the map to get that last barrier. It's an even game now, K-Bot.
Even game here is now, time's been playing for a minute. We're in overtime. That core's going to start moving a little bit faster, and that'll probably make the difference, especially if it goes towards this gravity well. First time around, we'll get sent up to Jumper, who's able to pull out the crystallized thorns there as well to sneak it right by Masked Samurai.
I mean, absolutely, just to highlight that round, beautiful defensive play. They got behind, they had a cheeky KO, Hubble Bubble did, but they couldn't find, you know, that confirm on the power play, and to no credit of their own, I feel like Yoki's Prodigies really just put it on them, and just amazing defensive play. So many clutch saves.
Defensive play, gotta wonder how much of the coach's own teachings are taking effect there. But now, both barriers down again, core flip used, looking for the stall here, trying to bait out some abilities as Zentaro dashes forward. Zairi responds back for Hubble Bubble.
Yeah, the Drakkar just using that shotgun, getting 2 very, very quick barriers, and then just the finish, the beautiful finish from Zentaro there on that passive ability and on the dash too. Just really great utilization of the character's mobility to find that finish.
And look, also realizing that you didn't necessarily have to strike it out of the core flip, right? You don't necessarily have to go for that empowered strike all the time, and oftentimes it's useful to try to bait away other cooldowns, especially those that this Drakkar will have at his disposal as well. And now Razzie going to use that energy burst, sends it around town here as well. 1 goal barrier going to be down on both sides.
Yeah, and actually one thing to kind of look out for, I do believe this is Zentaro's probably second best map right behind Demon Days. The character just has such an easier time getting these barriers with his abilities compared to some other maps. You know, I could go talk for an hour about that, but we'll leave it at that. You can trust me there. Number 1 Zentaro, you can trust me there, trust. But the Juliet here and the Estelle just putting out a little bit more pressure, it seems. You know, you'd think the Drakkar and the Zentaro would put out just the same amount of pressure, and we have seen that in the previous rounds, and we just saw that there with the beautiful movement by Zentaro and to secure the kill with the primary as well. Now they're not on the power play. Now Hubble Bubbles has the advantage here.
It's a response KO. Lexus can't move forward. Now he's going to have to burn a dodge to get around that lock and load that was coming his way as well. And will be taken around. Now Masked Samurai still defending this final goal barrier up here as we now head on to overtime. Zairi, core flip again, stalls out for a moment, but this time met with a fire flurry out of Lexus, who's looking for the second goal barrier. Looks like it's going to be responded back as those players were able to get it around, and now beautiful clear right around that final goal barrier. Finally, falls over to Lexus here, who now takes a shot towards the net. It'll bounce off the goal barrier and right back to himself. It's the first set for Yoki's Prodigies.
Yeah, and that whole last round was kind of chaos, right? Lots of KOs from both sides just swapping back and forth, and then the great use of that overtime core speed to get those 2 passes from goalie to midfielder straight to Lexus to finish off that core, to get that last barrier, and then a perfect dash punch just to get it in the net. And as we look at the trainings here, heavy impact, not surprised here from the Juliet, going to be helping that dash punch a lot harder, as well as her ultimate ability. We'll see Timeless from Amy, obviously another great training there, going to help Amy have much bigger and more impactful ultimates. 2 Spark of Strength and bulk up here, nothing too crazy. Fire it up actually on the side of, the Estelle on Jumper. Yep, there it is. Jumper on the side. Say with the fire up, the new training. We said it before. You know, it's going to give your team a little bit more energy in total when you pop your core flip and a speed boost as well. So I'm excited to see how that plays into here and see if Jumper can even get a core flip now. It's already staggered.
Jumper staggered, and for the record, it is Razzie that's able to pick up the second spark there as well already, just after the first carousel. Already has 2, those cooldowns, and that shotgun going to be up so much more, but it's not going to mean that those barriers won't go down, as we got a power play opportunity here as well with a player taken off the pitch. It'll be Zyrie able to find that final goal, but a nice passing play, better execution that time around in order to capitalize on that things.
Yeah, same type of thing that we're talking about actually for the other team. Just great passing play off the power play actually there. So they made it work that time. No clutch saves there. And as both quick barriers go down, Razzie, I believe, kind of missed a strike timing there. Just has nothing. Oh my gosh, as I'm saying it, Zyrie with the perfect passive usage on the Zentaro to hit it straight through Razzie there. Amazing.
And I'll tell you what. We have these, you know, nightmares probably of that core going right in front of the Juliet. I think people should have just as many nightmares of the core going right in front of a Zentaro, right? With the number of things that he has at his disposal to make sure that core goes back and once again finds both barriers there as well. Alexander looking for the pass, top corner, sent away by Razzie, but hold on a second because it looks like possession still kept by Hubble Bubble and finds the top corner the second time around. Those were 2 quick points towards the end of this, and Hubble Bubble responds right back.
Yeah, I mean, looking at my watch here, that was like a 1.5 minute set. That was a quick one. They answered back quick. They do not want this game to go fast. Like, they want this game back. They want to qualify, right? They're showing that they deserve to be here, and we'll see what the Zentaro picks here. The stacks on stacks coming through. He could have picked the aerials, got a little bit more dash range, but the stacks on stacks, definitely not a bad pickup there. We see Monumentalist actually from the Amy for double creation training. Some people don't really like it too much because it hits a bit harder to stun lock into your ult, but I still think, you know, it has some sort of play here. Aerials on the Jakar for that, on the Jakar forward actually on Alexander. For the increased shotgun range, and then Big Fish actually got all the way through onto the Julie, one of her best trainings.
I mean, Lexus is got to be feeling pretty happy with the way his build's looking right now. Heavy impact in addition to the tempo swing and Big Fish. Exactly what this Juliet wants here. So we'll see if he can try to convert here, as things are a little shaky for them right now. Jumper low on stagger is correct as well, and Alexander forced to back on away here as well, but Razzie can't quite seem to find it. It's Masked Samurai credited with the goal.
Yeah, actually a pretty beautiful glitch pop there to out to win the strike core, get the hit stun onto Jumper there so he could not strike that core. Perfect angle onto the top corner. Raz just couldn't get there in time.
Now we'll be seeing what happens here. Dash forward from Zyrie looking for this goal barrier. Again, finds it. This Zentaro, you mentioned it earlier, picking up all of these goal barriers and continuing to dash around the core. It's a second point on the board here, and it's been like 5-0 for Hubble Bubble, all quick points.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Yuki's Prodigies can kind of find themselves and turn it around here, but the Zentaro is just running through them on top of the Amy with that Amy ult, the Timeless Creator, and the Monumentalist. They just can't figure out how to get it around them right now on the kickoffs.
Be looking for this one here. Pass comes forward here. Zyrie also has core flip at his disposal. Will use it there. Finds a goal barrier. Now looking for the bottom one here as Jumper and Lexus both low, forced to back on away. And now all of a sudden it's created this opportunity here for Zyrie to try to come forward. No core flip used. Denied here from Lexus. Able to find one goal barrier for the trouble, but is still knocked back and will get knocked out as well. Power play opportunity, though the goal barrier was still full. Razzie trying to send it around, but Masked Samurai is there in time. Jumper looking for the piercing shot. No, won't happen this time around. And there is the ultimate from Zyrie again. Continues to dash around the core, continues to cause chaos in the enemy's goal box. And Hubble Bubble up 2-1.
I mean, Zyrie's just putting on an absolute clinic right now. As we just saw from his title, 1,000 Absolutes, he's showing them 1,000 ways they cannot win right now on the side of Yoki's Prodigies because Hubble Bubble's taking it to him. That was the 2 fastest sets I've seen this entire tournament.
Oh.
As he gets the built diff, gonna be more damage, bigger hitbox. He's just gonna be a monster now.
Dude, give me some time to like have a sip of water here.
Yeah, I can keep going with the draft, actually. I apologize. Yeah, there's just
no, not you. I'm talking to Zyrie. I'm talking to Zyrie. You can like talk all you want, talk all little you want.
Actually, one thing I can say another here. 3 sparks now for Razzie. Has that spark of agility. that's when you start to come online with the Sparks a bit more, right? Spark of Agility kind of figures, move speed's definitely the better of the stats, I'd say, in total. And be able to get there a little bit sooner, play a little bit more aggressive now as he does have that cooldown and that move speed. So we'll have to see how he can make use of it as they get one barrier to one barrier, even game here. And Lexus, low on stagger.
Lexus low on stagger again. The damage continues to get racked up for the front lines of Yoki's Prodigies. And now passing play coming through. Zyrie once again credited that one, but that was all set up by Alexander. Able to find that quick little pass, and that's the difference maker.
Just the difference here between the midfields, the Estelle has much longer cooldowns than the Drakkar, and the Drakkar is just putting so much pressure and followed up perfectly by the Zentaro that's just getting it right in their face, keeping it in their face, and outpacing them this whole game.
Or flip here. Jumper able to find one goal barrier, and Lexus sent away from the other side of the pitch of what's going on thanks to that Imi turret there as well. Now core flip use Zyrie on the offensive here. Lexus will use that fiery flurry, finds a connection there onto one power play opportunity, but again Zyrie's there dashing forward with the core once more. Razzie can't find a defense, can't find an answer even with all those sparks, and all of a sudden once again match point for Hubble Bubble.
I mean, I think we found a prodigy here on the side of Hubble Bubble. Zyrie playing probably one of the better Zentaro games I've seen, especially at these lower elos. I'm really impressed, and coming from me, I feel like that should mean at least a little bit, because I've played over 400 games or so of this character, and this guy's, playing it extremely well, as he gets both the barriers already with the help of Alexander, and they're posturing for another goal here. They're trying to finish this.
Razzie doesn't have energy burst, gets knocked away as the insult to injury from the Zentaro special as well. So many things playing to the favor of Hubble Bubble there on the whole, and they will be the second team to qualify for the Invitational out of qualifier number 2.
Yeah, and one thing to note, with that West Coast server, I feel like, it had to do a little bit with the side of Yoki's Prodigy struggling to adapt to that ping there. I would really love to know exactly how much ping either of them had, because especially Razzie, the goalie, it looked like, some things were a little bit not timed, and Zyrie just kind of taking full advantage of it with those 9 goals, 4 KOs, the most redirects in the entire game, as well as a forward. I mean, he just put on a straight clinic with the 20,000 damage as well. I mean, what more is there to say? He spoke for himself.
And the other thing there, too, that I want to comment on is that in a lot of these points, both Lexus and Jumper just couldn't quite be as offensive because they were once again racking up so much damage. It was Mass Samurai and Alexander both contributing to the damage, preventing Lexus from actually finding some of those offensive plays, feeling super able to be aggressive on that Juliet to try to find some of those goal barriers. And therefore, once you just send that core the other way and you get in front of Zyrie, it's only going one direction, and that direction is to the back of the net.
Yeah, and kind of to expand on what I was saying earlier on why, we see the Amy goalie and we see the Zentaro on Atlas Lab a lot, and why it's such a good map for them. With that black hole in the gravity well in the middle of the map there, you have to play in very narrow chokes, or you have to try to, take out that black hole. So it gives opportunity for that Amy goalie to find glitch pop damage, to find, with the Drakkar midfield, to just get so much damage just off of using his shotgun, his primary ability, right? And with that ultimate as well, the Molten Bolt. And then it's just the perfect, playground for Zentaro to use all of his giant AoE abilities, his blinks, his dashes, everything in his kit to not only do damage, but just go across the map and find those pretty easy to get goal barriers,
Yeah, so that'll do it there. And Yoki's Prodigies will have to spend another few sessions probably watching Yoki's Rasmus hooks, I suppose. Try to pick up on a thing or two there to come back for the third event. I mean, what do you think is the adaptation there? Let's take the ping thing aside for a moment. What else can they try to do?
I mean, ping aside, I do believe that they just didn't quite have the better comp. I believe the side of, for the map at least, for the side of Hubble Bubble had the better comp. They had a lot more damage, which is amazing on that map. It's very easy to secure KOs on that map. And that's kind of as we saw all game, right? Except for that first set where you saw them getting a little bit outpaced Hubble Bubble. Hubble Bubble came in, got a couple damage trainings, got a little bit more oomph, a little bit more oomph in their awakenings, and just was destroying on the health bars, destroying on the KO game, and finding pretty easy power plays the entire time.
Yeah, able to find those power plays often thanks to a lot of those passes that were coming in for them as well, right? And being able to take care of that. So trying to find ways to interrupt that a little bit more could have been certainly useful. And at the end of the day, I mean, I think the other thing though too is you think that spark of focus, that first starter awakening that was played, 2 members on Yoki's Prodigies end up picking it up, both trying to maybe look for that spark build, but of course it only fell over to the Drakkar, which was helpful for those lock-in loads, but then the Estelle was feeling it, not having quite as many abilities up probably there, looking for more core control abilities again to interrupt what was going on. Just couldn't really be as much of a factor there overall. But folks, we got one more match coming up as we establish our remaining qualifying team from tonight's event. It'll be Luna Goalie versus Duckyman. Luna Goalie with Orbnet, Aram Int, and Icy, and Duckyman being Duckyman, Shiroi, and Min Prime. So should be another fantastic match coming your way. Or do you recognize any of these players?
No. I do not recognize any of these players. I'm just gonna put it bluntly.
All right.
I have not seen really. Maybe I've came in like their game once or twice earlier on. Especially with the matchmaking now, sometimes the Omegas will get into the plat games. Definitely not the greatest, but I don't think I've had any of them. I'm trying to think back. That's why I'm kind of looking up into space here a little bit. I'm just gonna say I definitely not aware of their gameplay, except for the last round. Previous to when we were casting, we did see Duckyman, I believe, playing on stream as well. So I am aware a little bit of how they play just after seeing that game. So, I mean, I'm excited. I'm coming into this a little bit blind. I don't really know what to expect here, so take me on the roller coaster. I'm ready for the ride.
Hey, there we go. Again, like maybe we'll see another, Prodigy here. We saw Zyri pop off on the Zentaro. We saw a fantastic performance there earlier as well. And so we'll see what else comes of the rest of this year as we get set up for our third. And this will be the final match of the night, folks. We're almost there. Know it's starting to get a little late for you there, but of course, you should probably be used to this time, especially if you're paying any attention to the North American Strikers League. That's right, folks. We'll be back for week 4, the final week of league play, coming at you this Saturday. So make sure you tune in basically all day. Games start at something like 3 p.m. Eastern and run almost all the way through the end of the night. So make sure you tune in. Of course, also make sure you've got your Father's Day plan squared away or something of the sort. But then make sure you're also tuning in for Omega Strikers action at some point during the day, because there are a ton of fantastic matches, including you might even be able to see this guy play. Maybe.
I believe we're playing at 6. I think we're the last match, and sadly my team, we are stuck in relegation, not able to quite find these wins with the recent tie off stream. We did swap up the roster with me playing now into the second half, just couldn't really, quite find it. But we do have one more game, gonna try to make it entertaining for everyone, so definitely check that out. And then I'll be casting actually immediately after. I'll be jumping straight onto the casting desk after I play. And I'm just trying to have some fun that day, right?
Yeah. It's always a lot of fun to be a part of those things. So make sure you're tuning in. That'll be on this Twitch channel, by the way. So drop a follow, notification, all those sorts of things. And of course, it'll be pinged in the competitive Omega Strikers Discord server. So make sure that you're in there for all of the live updates. And make sure you got that little tag for the Nassel pings as well. Both East and West matches separated there by region. Should be a lot of fun to come out and watch as we set things up here, Borg, for not only the remainder of the season and playoffs and the relegation and the start of even the summer season, but also as we have our final look at some of these teams before the Pro League that's happening. That was just announced coming up rather soon.
Yeah, I'm actually extremely excited for Pro League. I myself, a free agent looking for a team. I have a couple options, so you'll definitely see me in there as well. I'm extremely excited because this is the first, after release, Odyssey run huge professional event, right? So we're going to be seeing a lot of good teams, a lot of, up-and-coming teams possibly making their names at this tournament. So, going to be a great event as we get into the game here. And we'll have to see what the bans are on both sides. In Autzen City, keep in mind. So Juno, I expect to be banned. Actually, it'll be the Estelle and the Era ban. So Duckyman getting his Juno. I do know from that last game, seeing Ducky Man on the Juno, I do believe this is Juno's strongest map as well. Any of the Juno mains in chat, feel free to correct me. But oh wait, not hovered the X instead.
We're thinking about it.
Actually going
play
the
the
X. Okay. This is a surprise, K-Bot.
Perhaps a surprise, but I mean, feels relatively decent. We'll also have to see what the starter awakenings were here as well.
Yeah.
On the other side, it will be a Juno played there, in addition to a Rasmus and a Dubu. Likely that Dubu will find its way over to the goalie. Now you see us get into things here. Final match of the day, folks, and the final invitation on the line for our event at the end of the season. It's big fish across the board for all these players.
I'm assuming that it was probably a spark or something, not quite as impactful early on for the other training, as I do believe that Big Fish, I'm not surprised seeing the X anymore. Makes sense. X with size, definitely very good, even after the size nerfs. And I'm kind of excited to see how they play this kill comp here with the Atlas.
It'll be the first goal barrier down, and the pass comes through there on over to this Rasmus. Picks up the first one on the board here to set this red side ahead.
Yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy there. Just quick little barrier and then a great pass down and good finish from Aromatic Minty. I mean, pretty textbook, nothing crazy, as they get another barrier here with that Rasmus secondary and a perfect pendulum swing after that secondary. Just perfect. Hits the Primetime Enjoyer, hits that Atlas. Cannot hit the core anymore since he is hit stun and the core just goes straight in. Two really quick goals.
And I'll tell you what, Borg, I want your opinion on this, because even though Rasmus can pump out quite a bit of damage and is kind of classified as a brawler, I feel like we see this Rasmus play a little more midfield at times and play this more core control style with all of the ranged abilities he has at his disposal.
Yeah, so the kind of the beauty, as we see, another showcase there of the great scoring potential from the Rasmus primary. The beauty of Rasmus is that he's so creative with how you can use him. You can pull characters for KOs with that pull, especially on Amy's app and maps like this. Everyone's got a little bit, a little bit scarred from at least one game in their life on that map. But you can also use it for core control. Keep in mind, you can use it to pull that core closer to you, thread the needle maybe, to get that pass to yourself, to get it in that bottom corner or that top corner, depending on where you go at here. And as we look into the trainings now, Super Surge, I'm surprised to see that actually for the side of Aromatic Mint Tea. It's definitely not a bad training. I definitely think it's pretty decent, but I do believe Fire Up, with that being infinite, I wouldn't be surprised if there would be, 6 Fire Ups, at least in Hyla here. That would be a pretty normal thing, and with 3 characters on the side of Fire Up, I think that they have a side for a comeback here. If they can at all just survive until one player gets core flip, then we're going to be seeing a lot of core flips come through and a lot of energy.
A lot of energy connection, but the way things have been going so far, the passes keep coming through here as Aromantic here able to send that one back as well. And still 4-0 here to start things off in this match. We'll see if we can try to find a response here, and we're going to need to find one rather quickly, even though some of these energy meters are starting to get up there.
Yeah, and I mean, as we're kind of seeing, I think the difference is with that Juno on the other side and the Dubu as well to walk up, use his creations, use that log, use that Dubu tofu wall, can keep that core forward and give perfect time for the Rasmus to actually pop off. As we say that, Ducky Man and Troy getting the barrier and on the offensive here. Great snipe with that core flip on the top shelf from the Rasmus there.
And even if that was sent away, you saw the X. Like, it's so scary to watch an X run at you at top speeds, because it's just like a little strut, little stroll forward. You think that X isn't moving that fast, Tori, and all of a sudden, he's covered half of the pitch already, in position there to send it away as well. But, yeah, comes to the board, and hey, that's that Fire Up awakening we were talking about a little bit. That might have played a little bit more of a role, especially in converting that goal, but we got to see a lot more of a focus on getting those energy meters up.
And you can see after the slightly mispositioned core flip there from Ducky, we actually see the speed up from the Rasmus and from the Atlas to actually get in position to save that core. And we can see a lot more pressure now off the side of blue team here. I cannot remember their name here. As a beautiful secondary puts it in right past the Dubu. Great recast, great timing. And they're catching up here, K-Bot. This is going to be a game.
Catching up here, Troy putting in the work as well, knows that perhaps Aromantic got a little bit of the best of him in the first set, but now able to put on a little bit more of a show there, off of the corner, being able to dodge around 2, and See where the rest of this goes here. There's first energy burst going to get used, and now Ducky Man and Troy still looking to try to keep up the offensive, but they're not going to keep possession for the core for very long. And now energy burst is going to get met with the Tofu Fortress here as well. Still more power here on over to the side of Luna Goalie. We see more energy bursts used here as the speed boost is just about to expire. Nice summer assault saves the gold berry for now. It'll finally get taken away. Ducky Man looking to lunge forward there on the bull rush. No, won't connect with the core for now as it starts drifting back the other way. Now, core flip there from Primetime Enjoyer. That'll be the speed boost once again, but Ducky Man and Troy on top of one another. Not gonna be able to find the pass to one another, and there is the clear from Icy. Here comes another energy burst, and there finally comes the bell ringer as that core goes back as well. Ducky Men going to find a set in response.
And we talked about, the main characters of the teams earlier. Ducky Men, Ducky Man on the Ducky Men. Finding that KO on the Dubu and really just free open net there. So great set on their side. I think the Fire Up really just honestly won them that set with how much tempo they were able to provide with those core flips and just getting so much meter every single time that any of their teammates core flipped as well. Nothing too crazy here on the side. We do have Chrono Boost as well onto Shroy, onto that Rasmus. So a little bit longer time on the secondary, a little bit more speed buff. And then we see Glass Cannon on both the goalies. Orb Dancer actually very notable on Aten City since there are double the orbs that spawn. So already, and has the Ponder as well. I actually didn't catch that last time. So definitely a chance for the Juno to kind of come online and make a difference with those double orb trainings.
We'll see if Orbnet even gets orb sharing as well, which would be another step up there. Potentially even something that could meet the power of the triple Fire Up on the other side. Nice pendulum swing, able to find the first goal barrier there for Aramantic. And now open nets both sides. Aramantic trying to play around with this one a little bit. Now pulling it back. Not going to be phased here by Shroy. Energy burst used out of Ducky Man. Trying to lunge forward here, but possession going to fall for a moment. Primetime Enjoyer tries to send this one back, but no, again denied. And Orbnet here doing a fantastic job of keeping the pressure up, and the core will find the net as well. Able to play enough dancing there around and interrupt anything that the Ducky Men was trying to set up.
Yeah, I mean, Orbnet just great slime positioning there, and then the Atlas a little bit mispositioned, too far down, cannot quite get up in time for that reposition on the strike. But if we kind of just, oh wow, as I'm about to go crazy onto the Ducky Men and talk about how many core flips they have, Aromatic Minty doesn't need a core flip. He just needs one ult and one strike. Perfect find onto that bottom corner, and I mean, again, this is similar, kind of looking like the first set here. We need to see Ducky Men just start using these core flips and start outpacing.
There's one out of Ducky Man himself. And the X Maximus comes out as well, but not able to rack up so much damage. And now we see the Celestial Intervention as well, but it doesn't prevent the Pendulum Swing coming through for Aroma here on the Rasmus forward. Now, Clear doesn't find the corner and now starts to drift here, but we see the power play opportunity. The Juno not up here. Orbnet taken off of the map, resetting the stacks crucially on those Orb Awakenings. And now won't have that at their disposal. Ducky Man, Energy Burst used, gives this speed boost up for the team for a little while, and now will run out. Ducky Man as well, using that X Maximus, trying to bully Aroma around. Buys more space here for Primetime Enjoyer, who's able to find the save there, as the pressure was starting to mount for Orbnet. Now looking for this one out of the corner as well. And the Energy Burst won't connect this time around. Luna Goalie going to win their second set.
And I mean, that round looked a little bit better. They were kind of tempoing them, outpacing them, getting a lot of the flips, but they just could not convert on a lot of those energy bursts. They couldn't quite find it. The Dubu was a little bit locked down, and with the Juno slimes just stuffing half of them too. I don't know if you saw a couple of them. The slime was right in front of that energy burst, so just kind of soaked up that core. And we see now Hot Shot on the Juno. This is going to be a little bit scary on the side of Ducky Men, and we'll have to see what else they get. Heavy impact on the X, a little bit more damage will be nice. Twin Drive actually on the Atlas. That should help him hold that barrier for a little bit longer, and Twin Drive as well. Another secondary usage never hurts onto the Rasmus. And keep in mind, extra special, the Happy Star, as it's now called, onto the Dubu. That's 2 Dubu Fortresses. The core is going to be above half field for probably half this game, FK Bud.
And, we're talking a lot about this energy burst. One of the things that this Dubu has to prevent that core flip going to the net, Tofu Fortress out. This one finds the wrong side of that fortress and now might be causing trouble here, but able to send it away nonetheless. Beautiful log, still not cracking under pressure there. Zycy sends it on away. Now, fence it back the other way. Looking for the pull back in is the Rasmus here. Ducky Man looking for the pass on away. 2 energy bursts online here. Now looking for that one as well. Beautifully placed by Aroma, setting that one away as well. Tofu Fortress again finds the wrong side of the core. Here comes the expanse as well. Core flip used by Ducky Man. Sends it away. Now a power play opportunity. Need to look for the passing play here. Trying to send this away though as well. Icy steps a little too far forward there on the core flip. And it's a quick punch to the net for Ducky Man.
Ducky Man 1129 finds the quick little core squeeze right in between the Dubu in the bottom corner there. Slight misposition there from Icy. I don't think he expected the X to hit it towards the bottom there. Definitely not the easiest of saves to get. But good find there from Ducky, and now they're up 1-0. I mean, let's see if they can make a difference here.
Looking for this one here. Core flip used now out of Shroy. That'll again provide the speed boost. And I'm mentioning it every time because that's the key to victory here, is staggering these energy bursts, looking for all of this speed and the extra core control that they might be able to find. But now we're seeing a little bit more of this midfield battle be won by Luna Goli. I say that though. Goal barrier down. Now we see a lot more of those slimes and those blobos going forward, but doesn't have those cooldowns up for now. Or that trying to play a little bit more towards that area, trying to buy some more space for Icy here. Goal barrier down as well. Tofu Fortress out. Now we're seeing Aroma gonna get pulled right on back to the blast zone. Taken off the map. Another power play opportunity here. Shroy has that core flip at his disposal. Will use it there and sneaks it right by. Ducky Med now 2-0, trying to send us to a set 5.
And finally, we see the energy burst. We see the core flip actually get shots. Actually score. We haven't been able to see a lot of goals from the core flip recently. We've been seeing a lot of them for the speed boost and a lot of them to kind of keep midfield possession, but not too many goals from them, and we finally see one there, as maybe we'll see another. No, perfect slime there from Orbnet, actually, and another core flip to stop it from going, and we're back to kind of an even game here, but Orbnet needs to be careful.
Needs to be careful. Cracked there on health, as well as Aroma for that matter. Here comes the energy burst as well, but Icy still has it up at his disposal. Able to send it away. Now looking for this one as well, with all the speed that's coming out of the plays. Beautiful play there. Beautiful clear from Icy. Now, barrier's going to fall on the other side of the pitch as well, but it's going to be Aroma taken off of it. It's another power play comes out here. You see Orbnet trying to get a little bit more aggressive with these blobos with that special, but no. This will start getting sent back the other way, but you see the KO come in as Aroma comes back online. Energy burst used to send this one back the other way. Ducky Man trying to keep up the pressure here, but a log comes out. Orbnet looking to try to keep this one up here as well, as you figure the speed out of the Juno potentially playing a role. Now looking for this one, shoves past the corner, and Aroma able to find the angle right around Primetime Enjoyer. Well done to find that one, trying to stay alive in set 4.
Yeah, and crucially, we see Orbnet and Aromantic getting very, very low early on in that set, but able to stabilize the Dubu, kind of holding it down, giving them time to start, getting their health back. And we actually find a beautiful core flip on the side of Orbnet earlier to take out Troy, and just give them that power play into a really good goal. As we see another... That was pretty random there. That was a beautiful primary from the Rasmus to sneak it right by the Atlas, And like I said earlier, when that Primetime Enjoyer, the name on the Atlas is throwing me off here. When we see the pendulum swing on the Rasmus and it hits the goalie as well as the core, 99% of the time it's going to go in. Because you're hit stunned, you actually can't strike when you are stunned by the pendulum swing. So beautiful there on the side of Aromantic Minty.
Seeing this one go back the other way here, and now goal barrier open. By the way, though, match point for the red side of Luna Goli. All they've got to do is find one more goal, and the goal barrier is open now in order for them to do that one. Orbnet has the energy burst at their disposal. Will burn it here, but it'll get denied by Shroy. Strike Wars 1. Now the expanse is burned. That's one expanse, and it gets sent right on by Aroma. Still finishing things off just as they started, sending the team of Luna Goli onto the Invitational.
Yeah, and honestly, a big difference here as we see, I'm pretty sure, a Juno MVP. I'd like to see the amount of redirects this Juno had, right? Because it seemed like the biggest thing all game that if they couldn't get any real good value out of their energy bursts and out of their core flips, on the side of Ducky Men, they didn't really have too much offensive pressure, right? Because both their characters, both melee characters, don't have very many abilities that are projectiles. Just kind of getting danced around by Orbnet, right? The Slimes just keeping it forward to Aromatic Minty, and Aromatic Minty just with the 8 goals. Really good confirms, great goal pressure, pretty much missed almost no abilities. Every time that they had the chance to score, they scored.
able to convert in some of those situations. That's really one of the things that matters most here. And we saw so many, actually both Rasmuses, able to convert in a lot of cases. We saw Shroy dig things out of the corner, as you saw that replay a moment ago. But fantastic stuff all around. And again, look, it's the second qualifier, which means even though these teams got knocked out today out of their qualifying opportunity, they've got one more chance of trying to make it back to this exact same spot next week, Borg.
Yeah, and I mean, I expect them to be back. I think they played fairly well. They got they got 3 fire-ups. They played towards it. They just couldn't quite find those confirms that they needed, right? You know, great play from Icy on the Dubu for the most of the time. You know, 51 saves, 102 redirects, able to keep it away from his net a majority of that game. So, you know, congrats to I believe Luna Gaming or Luna Goalie. Yeah, Luna Goalie is the team name. So, congrats to Luna Goalie.
Feels weird to say as a team name.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. That's why I had to double check, because it just did not seem right. I thought it was Luna Gaming for a second. I was about to say that.
Yeah.
But, you know, arguably maybe a better team name, but that's just my opinion.
But,
you know I expect the Documentists to come back. You know, I do believe that they had a good showing. You know, 3-1, but it was a very close third set there, or excuse me, fourth set there, actually. And congrats again to the side of Luna Goalie.
Incredibly close, as now we are officially halfway through the season, as there's one more qualifier, then of course the invitational event in the Omega Strikers Amateur Series for their inaugural run at things. Thank you all for tuning in so far tonight. It's been a lot of fun to get the chance to watch some more of the up-and-coming stars in Borg. We saw a lot of those players tonight.
Yeah, definitely impressed by a couple of these players in particular, you know, especially that Zentaro game. I want to be looking back to that, you know, maybe I'll have him coach me after seeing that game, because that was very impressive. I'm going to have to rewatch that and kind of see how he's doing it. But I'm definitely excited to see a couple of these up-and-coming players. And, I mean, it was a pleasure to cast with you and fill in on this day of pretty hype Omega Strikers. Even, you know, a lot of these lower levels, you know, we'll see, you know, everyone's like, oh, they'll kind of write them off. And it's like, oh, it's just Diamond and below. It's not going to be anything good. But a lot of those games are pretty good, pretty high level, I'd say.
I lied, Borg. There's 6 weeks of this, so there's plenty more OSIS active to come. And of course, we'll be continuing to cover as much of it as we can. Borg, anything you want to shout out before we send folks off?
You can catch my rare stream at Jord_OS. I've had a lot of life stuff going on recently, including Omega Striker solo queue. That's been kind of taking up a lot of my free time, and
stream the solo
I know
queue.
I can stream the solo queue, but I have a very low win rate when I stream, because I like chatting, I like looking at chat, you know, paying attention to that, not actually the game. So now that I'm a bit higher up there, I'll probably be streaming on my other account and just be, you know, trying to have some fun with the viewers. So definitely check me out at Jord_OS and check out the NASL stream this Saturday. I will be playing and casting in it, and I believe KBot will be casting as well, so you can check him out there too.
Yep, I'll be casting on the NASL broadcast as well. I've got the matches to close the night at the very end of things, so that one should be fun. And yeah, on that note, we will send you all away. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next time.
See you later.